Hello, 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 hello. How are you guys doing? I am back. Yes, Sister Christy, 2 lives in 1 day. It is definitely an amazing day. It's a great day. It's a great day to do 2 lives. It's a great day to have a conversation. You guys know I was live earlier, falling asleep on here. My eye is red. I don't know why it's so red. But I was on here earlier talking with you guys, and I ended up taking a really long and very much needed. See, this Vaseline comes in handy because my hands are ashy, but very long, very much needed after church nap. When I tell you I needed that nap, I ain't joking. I needed that nap. I don't even remember laying my head down. That's how tired I was. I don't remember. I don't remember getting into bed. I don't remember none of that. I just know that I woke up. Thank you, sis. I just know that I woke up, and I thank God for that. But I slept really, really good, and got up. I ended up talking with a cousin of mine I haven't talked to in years, so it was really good hearing from her. And yeah, so really just got me to thinking. Well, not talking to her. I was already planning to do this particular live, but I started thinking about this particular week, or might as well say last week now. The amount of conversations that I've had with women, the amount of conversations I've had with women who weren't necessarily saved, made me come to a realization. I came to the realization that I honestly have to get out more. I came to that realization that I have to get out more because yeah, I was definitely tired. I'm incredibly tired. Like it wouldn't even. I feel 1,000 times better right now. I was real tired. I think I was a little bit frustrated too because I couldn't sleep last night, and I was tired. So anyhow, just some of the conversations that I've had with people in passing has made me realize that I genuinely need to get out more. And when I say I need to get out more, I'm not talking about going to Christian places. I'm not talking about going to clubs and stuff like that. But I'm saying just get out and do stuff a little bit more because it is helping me to understand more of what's going on in today's dating scene. It's making me understand like why people are doing the things that they are doing. And for me, you guys know, do me a favor because that's the kind of thing that's holding me back is I want you guys to make sure that you like and share. Make sure that you like and share. Make sure you like and share. I haven't dated. I was thinking about that tonight. I haven't dated in 14 years. And when I say 14 years, you know, guys, I was married at one point. So I wasn't dating then. Obviously, I was married. So we don't count that. But if we go back to the time since I've been manless out here in these streets, it's been 8 years. It's been 8 years. And I'm not talking about the type of single that a lot of you guys be talking about. That the type of single where you got somebody that you're talking to, but y'all haven't made a commitment or what have you. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about straight dry phone, like straight dryness or what have you. And you know, God was ministering to me, and this is one of the things I love having these father-daughter conversations with him. I have these conversations with him every day. God was ministering to me about really the fact that one, how I have pretty much isolated myself in the house. Two, like I'm out of touch with some of the things that are happening. Not to say that I have to come into agreement with it, but I do need to be aware of it because what I'm being made aware of through coaching and counseling, it is genuinely, it's a cultural shock, but it's also a generational shock to me. It's a cultural shock and it's also a generational shock. I'm going to say this, and this is just small talk. The Lord told me, Tiffany, you're in Georgia with Mississippi principles. He said, you're in Georgia with Mississippi principles. And I'm not just talking about with dating, I'm just talking about in general. You're in Georgia, you have a lot of Mississippi principles because where you come from, you hold high, you know, to those beliefs, to those things. So even talking about the world of dating, you know, I prefer because I had honestly, I said this at one point. I started thinking that maybe I was going to marry somebody from Mississippi because the guys there have more of a preferred way of going about things. There's a preservation of, and I'm trying to find a way to say this, of traditional values, maybe traditional values. There's a preservation there, maybe because Mississippi hasn't really moved forward or what have you. Mississippi, I mean, they progress, but there isn't a lot of progression. So in the areas, there are certain things that you're going to sacrifice, but as far as courtship and dating, right, chivalry, there's a preservation with a lot of guys of just traditional values that, I see you said southern, right, but even here in Georgia you don't see a lot of those principles. And one of my brothers in Christ, he likes to remind me, anytime I see him, he likes to remind me half the folks in Georgia ain't from Georgia. I'm like, okay, I get it. I ain't talking about them though. I'm talking about the ones that I met that is from Georgia. It is from Georgia. But God dealt with me. He said, "You are in Georgia with Mississippi principles." And I'm like, "Well, what's wrong with that, Lord? What's wrong with that, Lord?" It isn't to say that I'm looking for anybody, because I come to the realization that I'm not. I've been knowing that, but I've come to the realization that, in all our honesty, and this is just small talk, guys. I'm giving you time to share, right? I'm not giving you time to sit here and stare at me. Do me a favor, like and share. This thing should be more packed out by now. But I come to the realization that, in all our honesty, I don't want the Ruth model. I'm not laying at Boaz's feet. I'm not doing that kind of stuff. I've come to the realization that, in all our honesty, I just want to focus on my assignment. I've come to that realization, like, I just want to focus on my assignment. When the man of God comes, praise the Lord. In the meantime, in between time, I don't want any distractions. I've made up my mind. I don't want to deal with any distractions. Because one of the things I've come to learn is that one thing that happens with you when you have a distraction. And so, this came from a conversation I had with a sister in Christ. We had a conversation the other day, and we were talking about, she was telling me about, somebody that was showing interest in her, what have you. And I'm sure she don't mind me sharing. She was like, he's significantly younger than her or what have you. And I was like, okay, that's not a problem. And she said that she was telling me some things about him, and I told her, no, that ain't him. And I think the main thing, I know the main thing that made me tell her, I said, yeah, don't waste your time, was the fact that he wasn't in church. He wasn't serving the Lord or what have you. And he was like, well, I can go to church with you or what have you. But something she said to me, it made me start thinking. And y'all, do me a favor. You got to do me a favor, because I want to engage. How many of you, because she said, Tiffany, it's not a problem. She talked about somebody else that was, showing, she said, it's not a problem. She said, since I've been single, I probably dated 15 men in my head and broke up with them. So I want to ask, because I thought it was relatively funny, and I told her I've done that. I ain't gonna say it was 15, but I said I've had a couple of times where I was like, and then I was like, yeah, nope. I ain't doing it. Ain't got time for that. So just by show of hands, because this is a relationship talk, and y'all know this is one of my favorite conversations besides demonology. By show of hands, how many of you have done that? How many of you have dated people here? And when I say dated, potentially, thinking you going, how many of you have dated people here and then broke it off with them, or just dated them? Because some of you're not raising your hand because you're like, well, I haven't necessarily broke up with the dude here yet, but I'm trying to see, is that pretty common? Okay, it is common. Okay, it is common. All right, okay. Because we had a conversation about it, we actually laughed about it or what have you, and I told her, I was like, well, I ain't gonna say I thought I was the only person that did that, but I'm like, sometimes women, I think a lot of times we can kind of go here, and then after a minute, we like, yeah, I don't. So I'm gonna ask you a question before we get into the message, because I really want engagement tonight. I want to have a sister to sister, sister to brother, brother to brothers, because brothers, you can chat up in here. Do me a favor. I want to hear from as many of you as possible. Why did you break up with the guy here? Just And I'm giving you, I'll give you some small talk while you put it up here. Why did you break up with him? Like there was a real relationship, but it wasn't as serious in real life as it was in my head. Well, that's really common with women. Really common. Not so much with men, but really common with women. All right. They didn't return my calls. Love it. You know what that makes me think of? I lost a can't even call her a friend. This was somebody that we started rebuilding a friendship because every time we tried to build a friendship, this was somebody I thought that this sister and me, honestly, I can genuinely say wholeheartedly, I think she really tried to be my friend and I really tried to be her friend. But there was a clashing, it was target, it was just too much. Because I can honestly say, I'm not a person that points the fingers of blame, but she had this issue with just being very combative. Like you had to walk on eggshells. Like if you said something that she didn't like, she would get offended and what have you. And I don't do well with easily offended people. And that so every time we would try to be friends and we hang out, it was fun. She's talented. She had all these, and I'm like, and I think she was feeling that way about me. We like, oh my gosh. Matter of fact, when I was getting ready to leave Florida, we had just started hanging out again. We started being friends again, started going out, and yeah, I thought that was gonna be my bestie, and she thought the same way about me. But boy, it always ended in a conversation, and so what was I? Okay, what was I about? Why was I telling this? Let me get back up here and see. Okay, let me get back up here and see because why was I telling that story? Somebody said he had no ambition. All right. 10 kids. Oh, heck no. Let's see. I don't remember. Why was I telling that? Okay, let me get back up here. Then give me a second, guy, because I'm trying to figure out why I told that story, and I don't feel like trying to think about it. Okay. Oh, now I remember why. I can't find a comment, but I remember why. She ended up meeting a guy. And I'm honestly, I realize I'm not the friend for everybody. I'm not for everybody. And I respect that. And I'm not willing to change who I am to fit into a person's narrative of who I should be. I'm not willing. That's not stubbornness. It's just that I have peace with who I am. And I have people in my life who love Tiffany as Tiffany. So I don't have to change who I am. I believe that when you have to adjust who you are in order to fit into somebody's ideology, you're not necessarily fitting into their ideology, you're fitting into their voids. And I don't have time for that. So long story short, she had told me about this guy that I'm not gonna tell her story, but I'll say this. Our friendship ended when I told her, she was like, she inboxed, so it was something about inboxing. She inboxed the guy and she was fussing at him and what have you, because she had exchanged numbers and he hadn't called her. She was like, I deleted him, I blocked him, and then she's like, then I went back and added him. And I was like, baby, you doing too much. I told her, I said, you doing too much. And she was like, what do you mean? And I told her, I said, he's not interested. And I told her, I said, you're pursuing, but he's not interested. And she was like, and I'll never forget what she said to me. She was like, oh, heck no, I'm not about to let you put your negativity on your negativity on my relationship. Now, I'm not a negative person, so I don't know where she got that. But I think for me, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I would prefer, if I'm close to you, to not talk to you about your relationship if it's not right, if you can't handle the truth. I would prefer not to, because I'm not that type of person that's gonna say, because I realized today that phoniness is normal. And I don't want that. Honestly, I realized today that telling people what they want to hear is normal. That is expected. Oh, that's so good. He left his wife. Wow. I live by the principle what the Bible says. Whoa. Let's look at that word. Whoa. Woe unto them who call good evil and evil good. Let's see what the word woe means. Because I know I don't want it. I know what it means. But I want to get the definition for you. Okay. Woe unto them. It says great sorrow or distress. Did you know that you may be going through sorrow and distress because you said, congratulations, that's good, because you said, girl, that's good, when it wasn't good? When you should have said, I mean, I won't even say, you could say congratulations or what have you. But for me, if you come to me and you got this guy, let's say for just an example sake, and you took him from his wife, and you say, Tiffany, he's a man of God, he loved the Lord, his divorce almost final. I'm not gonna say, and you know, he proposed to me the other day. I'm not gonna say congratulations to you, so please don't even bother me with it. I'm not gonna say congratulations to you. I'm gonna say, sis, I understand that what he did to his wife, he's going to do to you. You know why I tell you that? Because I want you to remember that moment, because this is a stop off in your life. Before you enter the trauma, this is a moment in your life. I'm not speaking evil. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to capture your attention right there in that moment so that you understand that, hey, somebody tried to warn you. I'm yielding myself as a vessel to the Most High God to tell you, sis, that is not good. Where your other friends may be saying, oh, wow, so he leaving her. Good riddance. Okay, girl, I call you back. Then they get off the phone and talk about you. I don't do that. I talk to you. Sis, don't do that to yourself. All right. Somebody said I couldn't have an intelligent conversation with him. He just looked. Okay. Y'all ain't gonna have me laughing out here because the relationship wasn't real and he made it clear that he wasn't on that with me as far as really. I'm gonna deal with that today. Because let me tell you, another generational shock to me is that women actually are accepting that. That shocks me. That women, I don't want to jump and get into these pointers. That's a shock to me. That, and there's some of them that are logged in here right now or going to watch the replay who have ascribed or subscribed to that. And baby, I'm gonna set you free on today if you want to be free. No passion. I'm not gonna read all of them, guys. I'm just reading some of them. I realized he wasn't interested for the right reasons. Good reason to let go of somebody, because other women be sitting up there thinking, I can change his mind. He didn't return my calls. Right, let go. That's a lack of interest. I actually had a conversation and he wasn't who I imagined. I love it. I love it. He had 10 kids and no high school diploma. I was still talking to my son's father. We were on and off. He showed one trait that I did not want in my husband. I love it. I just thought it wasn't going to work. No passion, illusion, not dating. Right. Illusion, not dating is very common. Illusion, not dating. There, I can honestly say there's a lot of delusional dating out there. And this is what we talk about. Delusional dating is typically, let's say, a communal space. Let's say your job or what have you. If you're flirting with somebody, he's flirting with you, then you can engage in delusional dating. And that is basically you're not really dating, but you're flirting. But that can produce real feelings. And you have to be mindful of that. That is actually relatively common nowadays. But you have to be mindful of that, because typically what that does is it sets the stage. There's no accountability, no responsibility. That sets the stage for a lot of disappointment. So one of the things I want to, my goal, my premise on tonight, my responsibility on tonight is to take your head and to turn it. That's my job tonight, is to take your head and to turn it. And one of the reasons why, before I came on here live, the Lord was speaking to me. He said, remember what you've been teaching as it relates to your dog. When it comes to your dog, and I got to scroll down. I'm not getting to all the comments, guys. But when it comes to your dog, whenever I'm walking him, if his head does like this, guess what his body does? It's going to always go in the direction of his head. I need you to hear that. If he turns his head slightly to the left, slightly to the right, he's going to be distracted. Like, let's say, for example, y'all, My dog is, this is going to sound bad. This is really going to sound bad. And I'm sorry to my black sisters out here. My dog's a little racist. Not in a hateful way. We lived in North Florida. So, and it's, I don't even think it's a color thing. I think it's voice. So my dog loves the voices of, to my white sisters, he loves your voice. Black sisters, he loves all women. He adores women. But when he hears hi, he perks. When he hear hey, he's gonna come to you. But when he hears hi, so it's really funny to me watching him, because anytime, like, let's say we DoorDash some food or something like that, or if I haven't been to Chick-fil-A in a minute, but when I went to Chick-fil-A, anytime I was going to Chick-fil-A, he would stick his head, like if he heard a white woman's voice, he would stick his head out the window. He put that head out the window and he wagging that tail. But it's because, and let's be real about it, white people are not afraid of dogs for the most part. Black folks are. So he's dealt with trauma when we came here with, and this was a culture shock, because when we lived in Florida, like the apartment we lived in, we could go into the office. Like I could walk him. It was a beautiful apartment complex, and the office was big and really elegant. You go in there to pay your rent and all. They had a gym, everything. And you can literally take your dog in there as long as he was on a leash. So I would go in there to pay my rent with him on a leash, and they'd be like, hi, Milo, and they give him a treat and everything. So he's accustomed to that voice. When we got to Georgia, I kid you not, when we got to Georgia, I traveled to Georgia with him in the back seat. When we finally arrived in Georgia, it was hot as, it was hot out there. And we stopped by the office because I needed to get my key to get in my house and sign some paperwork. And I wasn't going to leave my dog in that hot car. So I go up in there thinking I'm in Florida. Never forget what my friend told me down in Georgia. She said, Tiffany, you're going to deal with culture shock. I was like, what are you talking about? You're going to deal with no culture shock? Come on. Been black my whole life. And yes, my friend is black. But get here, I literally, kid you not, I walk into the office, my dog on a leash, and everybody screams because everybody in the office was black. They scream. One lady gets up on her desk, another one's headed up. You can't have him here. Shut up. So those type of encounters has my dog relatively racist. I'm sorry. My dog, it's not a hate thing. He's just, he's had more positive encounters. When we lived in North Florida, we came in contact with a lot of our white sisters and brothers, and they were always hugging on him, stopping and, oh, you're so cute. I babysit you any day. Saw a lady, one new neighbor of mine. She lives not on my street, but just around the corner. And I was riding. I had him in the back seat of my car, so I kept my other car, my Nissan. That's my Milo mobile. So I drive that on Sundays to church, and I drive that around like locally and stuff like that. And when I'm taking him with me, and I stopped her. We were talking, and she came up to the car. She grabbed his face, head out the window, and she's white. He was wagging his tail. She was hugging him. She was like, "No, you can come over to my house anytime." He loves that kind of stuff. But my black sisters and brothers, I love y'all. I love y'all as well. I love you. But I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all, a lot of y'all scared. Gotta get healed. Y'all got some pet trauma. Y'all got some canine trauma, cat trauma. Name your trauma. Terrified of dogs, terrified of cats, just terrified. And now my dog be sitting up there. He sees a black person, hears a black voice. He kind of put that head down, wag his tail like, do you come in peace? Do you come in peace? Okay, that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. I'm just telling you, my dog it's not racism as a I don't like but it's racism as in y'all black folks have traumatized my dog with all they fear. So he just kind of waits to see if you are we good? Are we good? You good with me? Now, once he realizes you're good, he gonna give you the same amount of love he'll give a white woman. But from the jump, whatever he comes across with our white sisters, he will kiss y'all. He will kiss all over you. He's a or what have you. I realized that we went to Old Charlie's the other day, and the lady came out when she was coming out the door. That head popped out the back seat, and when she said hi, he came through the front. He came to the front, and I'm like, my dog is racist. My dog is racist, y'all. All right, so I wanted to deal with this. Like I said, I realized that I genuinely have to get out. Boy, why y'all ain't sharing? That's my question. Why y'all ain't sharing? Okay, I got to get out more because I've heard things on TikTok, and now I hear things in person because mostly I'm church and home. But I've heard things on TikTok about dating in Georgia, and a lot of the ladies that I've counseled here, it's almost this confirmation about what it's like to date in Georgia. And then, like I said, I've gotten out more this week. And I've come to realize that first and foremost, the Lord began to minister to me about principles. Now, that's another one of my notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do the small talk right thing. I think we got enough of y'all in here. I'm going to give you 5 commonly asked questions, and then we'll get to that part. That way I don't jump into one of my notes and have to rush past it. 5 commonly asked questions that I get. What's the difference between dating and courting? What's the difference between dating and courting? Okay, dating is a worldly concept. Dating, it diminishes or dismisses the concept of a purposeful relationship and replaces that with hope. Please tell me if that made sense. So, okay, dating, I dated when I was in the world. So if I was walking down the street and a man approached me, he said, "Hey, what's your name?" or what have you, and I felt like, and I'm like, "Tiffany." He says, "Tiffany, can I call you?" So if I decided I thought he was cute or what have you, I said, "Sure." 601-335, and then I gave him my phone number, and he would call me later that day. And when he called me, he would say, "Hey, you were looking good. You got a man?" "No." "Okay, so I want to get to know you better." And we would have a conversation. A lot of times brief. He says, "Can I pick you up Friday night, or can we go out on a date Friday night so I can get to know you better?" That's dating. I said, "Yes." "Okay, cool." That's dating. So dating diminishes the whole concept of purpose, being attaching purpose to a relationship. Courting is done for the purpose of marriage. I'm going to shock you with it. I'm going to shock you. So don't. Courting is done for the purpose of marriage. Dating is done. I like you. You like me. What's up? What you want? There's no end goal in dating. It's just hope. I hope you want something long term. I hope you want to get married. I hope you ain't finna try to play these games with me. I hope. That's what dating is about. Dating deals with hope. Courting is more about faith. Courting is when you say, "Okay, I don't have time for games." Courting, and I want somebody to write this, and I want somebody to write this, and then I want everybody on here to like and share. Courting is for grown-ups. Write in the chat. Courting is for grown-ups. I'm gonna shock you. I'm not done because I'm about to make you're gonna kind of pull back in a minute. But courting is for grown-ups. Courting is for grown-ups. It's for grown-ups. And when I say grown-ups, I'm not talking about age appropriate. I'm talking about maturity. I'm talking about maturity. It's for people who decide, hear me when I say this. I've accomplished, this is what courting is for. People who decide, I've accomplished this, I've accomplished that, I've got a therapist, I've been working on my mental health, I'm good over here, I feel secure here, I feel secure there, and yes, I need to help me. I I want somebody to help me with my purpose because I've said yes to my purpose. That's what the purpose of a help meet is, to help. The purpose of a help. Write it in the chat. Write it in the chat. The purpose of a help meet is to help. Write it in the chat. Put it on Facebook. Tag me. The purpose of a help meet is to help. If he's not in his assignment, if he's not in his purpose, my question to you, this is interactive. What are you helping him with? Because if he doesn't know what he needs help with, the only thing that's going to end up happening is he's going to need your help taking his wing out of his drawers. Dating. Now, this is where I kind of catch you off guard. This is where I catch you off guard. There's nothing wrong with dating. Just hold on. Just hold on. Don't close out of here yet. Don't call me a heretic yet. Dating is for the beginning so that you can decide if you want to court. Because you don't go straight into courting everybody. Courtship has purpose. Dating, you take the worldly principle out of that because you have to date on purpose. So, okay, matter of fact, let me say it this way. I'm going to give you a way that you should do it. You exchange numbers with a guy, you get on the phone with him, don't agree to a date. Y'all go follow me soon. Don't agree to a date. Don't do that. Don't do that. Can I take you out Friday night? Let's talk for about a week or so before and let's decide whether or not we want to go on a date. Let me talk to you for about a week because let me ask some questions. And y'all get my I got card games, Daddy's Girl and Daddy in a Box. Has all the questions you need to ask. Moderators, do me a favor, post the link to Daddy's Girls and Daddy in a Box. Those are dating card games that ask the right questions. Ask those questions because you have to decide first if he's worth going on a date with. Y'all, listen. This is going to be a new spin. What I'm going to be giving you today is probably some things that you've never heard before. That's why I'm telling you to like and share. That's why I'm telling you, hey, like and share this. You have to decide if you want to go on a date with him. I'll tell you an example. Y'all heard me talk about my brother. My brother used to think it was funny to try to hook me up with crazy folks that had issues and stuff like that. And typically he'll find, like if he came across a dude that he knew was cute, but the dude had issues, my brother would try to hook me up with him because you get distracted by the cute. And my brother tried to hook me up with this one guy one time. This one dude. It didn't work out. I had seen him before. I had heard about him before, which is why I didn't want to date him because I knew he was known for, some really shady stuff. I knew he was known for I don't know if he was a drug lord, but I knew he was out there or what have you. So, and I didn't want to date one of those type of dudes. But my brother gave him my phone number. And bro man must have been he was used to Jezebel women. He was used to Jezebel women. And I guess my brother didn't warn him. And the dude, we talked on the phone. We had a couple of good conversations, I think, or something. And I don't remember, he said something. I remember him getting ugly with me. I remember him getting ugly, trying to control me or something. And I said, oh, bro, lose my number. I said, don't call me no more. I'm done. I said, don't call me no more. I hung up the phone. This dude called my phone back. I didn't answer. He called my back. He said, it ain't over till I say it's over. Do you hear me? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Dude, I ain't never went on a date with this dude. None of that. Seen him in passing. Dude told me, I'll be back. And he said, you don't know me. He said, you don't know me. He said, you don't know me, do you? And I told him, I said, yeah, that's what I'm trying. I'm trying not to get to know you. That's what I'm telling you. I don't want to get to know you. So bye, little bird. Because and he was like, you don't know me. You don't know me. But he said, it ain't over till I say it's over. And I laughed so hard in his ear. I said, do that actually work on women? Like you be punking them for real? But that's the goal of getting on the phone. That happened within a couple of days of me talking to him. That happened within a couple. So could you imagine had I dated him? Okay, going back. Dude, I did date. Stalked me for 2 years. I ain't never kissed a dude, never had sex with the dude, nothing. Told that story before. Tried to fight me in a club. This is back when I was in the world. Exchanged phone numbers with him and met him in a club. I ain't thinking nothing about it. I'm thinking, and he had a patch. I didn't think nothing. I thought it was, because it was like the slick Rick thing, and he was dressed real. I thought dude was just one of those real cool guys. That's what I thought about him. I thought he was just real, different, unique, really creative, or what have you. He was real confident when he walked in. He owned a room, all that stuff. Went made the mistake of dating him before talking to him. And he came because we were living at my aunt's house by this time. He came out and I sit in the car with him and we talk. And like I said, we never kissed, none of that. We just sat out there and talk. And that's when I discovered that he actually had gotten a fight. And that's why he was wearing a patch on his eye, that he had lost that eye. I was like, but I just remember thinking, but okay, I don't know about that. It was weird. But anyhow, I ended up, what made me realize that I had to end a relationship with this dude. I ended up going, first red flag. Three things happened in one day, I think it was. I'm pretty sure all three of these happened in one day. First thing was he wanted me to meet his family. A little too soon for that, should think. So I was like, okay. He was like, because I think we had a date plan, but he was like, he wanted to swing by and introduce me to his family, what have you. So I thought that was weird, given that he really didn't know me. We go by there, and he introduces me to them. And, they look shocked to see me. They're like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. How y'all doing? And when he left out the room, his sister looked at me. And then she said, I don't mean no harm, but what does a girl like you want with him? We did that to my brother before because we knew. So when she said that, I had that, okay. That nod your head, okay, I get it. Okay, so yeah, nobody, yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know. We get in the car, and then, we in the hood. We get in the car, and we were going across this railroad track. And y'all have heard me share this story before. We're going across this railroad track, and it's a bunch of kids out, ton of kids, and they being rebels. They like teenagers walking in the street. Bro, man starts driving into the crowd to the point where they cussing and all that. And I'm like, what are you doing? They're kids. And he didn't say nothing. He just had the coldest look on his face. And then third event, I told him I was going out to the club that night. I said I'm going. So it was two clubs. You can go to the V, and the other one was Impressions. I just remember the name of that club. It's been years since I remember the name, but it was V and Impressions. So me and my friend girl, what we used to do, the V used to stay open till 3 o'clock. I think like 2 something, or right at 3. But the Impressions, you can go there. And so that's what a lot of people would do, is they would leave the V and go to the Impressions because they stayed open to 5 in the morning. So I told him, I said, yeah, we going to the V. He wasn't a V person. I met him at Impressions. So he was like, he's not going out that night. I was like, okay. I went out. I was a worldly woman. So, and it wasn't that I was trying to cheat, quote unquote, but one, I don't think we solidified a relationship. We were trying. And then two, I was just dancing with another dude. It was not a big deal for me. And he ended up sending his friend over there to me after a while. So just fast forward, he sends his friend, and I'm going to make up a name for him. I call him Woody. His friend comes over and says, after, I'm dancing with this dude, and I spot him. My friend girl, she taps me on the shoulder while I'm on the dance floor dancing. And she said, to go, Woody. He had came out onto the dance floor, got on the wall, and was just leaning, looking at me. And based on the way he was looking at me, I knew he was upset. So I was like, well, look like I'm already in trouble. I might as well keep dancing. So I kept dancing. When I come off the floor, because of how he was looking at me, I was really hesitant. So my friend girl comes in. His friend comes right when I'm coming off the floor. And I'm over there, I'm trying to wipe off sweat, what have you. And his friend comes over to me. He said, because he had real drones, like people that did his bidding for him. His friend comes over there. He says, hey, Woody said, come here. And I looked and I was like, is his legs broke? He said, no. Thank you, Sister Amanda. God bless you. I said, is he in a wheelchair? He said, no. I said, something wrong with him? He said, no. I said, well, tell him he come to me. And he looked at me. He was like, you want? I was like, tell him he can come to me. And I went and sat down with my friend girl, and we were talking. He came back a little bit later. He said, excuse me, sorry. Woody said, come here right now. I said, has he broken his legs? Is he in a wheelchair? Is he incapacitated in any way, shape, or form? He was like, no. But I said, but tell Woody he can bring his tail over here to me. And I was like, anyway, girl. And the dude was like, but you don't. I was like, so we left that club. We left that club. Me and Woody didn't say anything to each other. Get to the other club because honestly, in my head, we weren't broken up, or we weren't, because we weren't really officially, but we were trying. I just felt like we needed to have a conversation. Anyhow, get to the club, the second club, poor Woody, right? Get to the second club. And Woody had left the other club before me, so he can get to the second club. And it was a trailer, this big, huge trailer. He made sure he positioned himself. Thank you, Sister Octavia. God bless you. He made sure he positioned himself right in front of the door so that I could see him when I came in. So when I come into the club, there's a girl bent over, heavyset girl, bent over, backing it up on Woody. And he back there. So I'm face to face, and he's like, and y'all, it's funny. You just met a German Shepherd named Woody today. That's hilarious. It's funny because I literally didn't care. I didn't care because it was like, dude, I don't even know you like that. I don't care. So when I came in the club, he back there behind the girl. He just going. And he waves at me. He like, and I was like, right, no. And you know what? I believe out of all the things I did that night, me not getting upset was the thing that hurt him the most. Cause I'm just like, then I walked on with my friend girl. We walked on into the club, we bopping, we walked on into the club and we're about to have a good time. And next thing you know, his friend comes and tells me what he says, come here. I'm like, did he break his leg on the dance floor? So fast forward, his friend comes over and asks me, he waits till I done drank a little bit, and I didn't drink to get drunk. I wasn't drunk or what have you, but I used to love to dance. And his friend comes over, he's like, would you like to dance? I was like, sure. Go out to the dance floor, dancing with his friend. I really don't care. I'm not looking for Woody. Now, by this time, I really have broken up with Woody in my head. Like, yeah, I'm done. I don't do this type of craziness. I don't understand this type of stuff. I am not going to be in the head like I ain't going to get kicked in the throat. None of that kind of stuff y'all be doing to these other girls out here. I'm not doing it. So we get on the floor and I'm dancing with his friend. Friend's a really good dancer. But I noticed that the way he spins me, we end up standing next to Woody. Woody's still dancing with the big girl. I don't care. I don't want his friend. I don't want him at this point. I just want to have fun. I was a young lady. I just wanted to have fun. I had on a new outfit, had just got my hair done and everything. And y'all heard me tell this story before, but I'm sorry. Y'all make it, y'all are really disappointing because y'all ain't really sharing. Because we got 289 folks on here. We should have well over 400 on here by now. Y'all should have been sharing. All right. So anyhow, do me a favor, like and share. Anyhow, I sit back and we get on the floor. I'm dancing with the friend, and then I realize I've been set up. Because the friend spins out of the way, goes and starts dancing with the big girl, and then here comes Woody, gets in front of me and starts dancing. So he's dancing. I keep dancing with him. And then he leans in. He was like, what's up with you? And I said, what's up with you? And he was like, hi. He was saying something. He said, I can't hear you. He said, let's go outside. I've always been feisty. I was really feisty. So I said, okay. Because I'm more of a direct person. I don't like when people play games. I hate mind games. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. Easy way to get dumped is play mind games with you. I hate them. So I've always preferred direct. So he was like, let's go talk. So we go outside, we talk. And he said, I don't remember what song, but we go outside, we start talking. And Woody said, I don't remember what he said to me. I just remember he said something I felt was really disrespectful. And he was like, well, no, he said, when I tell you to come here, you come here. I just remember that after all these years. When I tell you to come here, you come here. Is that understood? I said, Negro, I ain't say Negro, I cussed. I said, I don't know who you been dating. Now, I'm short. Woody was tall. So I'm like this. I don't know who you think I don't know who you think you're talking to. And I tried to go back in the club. Mind you, I was a size 4. So I had on a cat suit. To the folks that only know the same version of me, don't imagine the old one. She's dead. I had on this cat suit and I had a chain belt on. Why did I have a chain belt on a cat suit? I don't know. I told him, I said, I don't know who you think. I said, I don't know who you think I am. I don't know what type of women you've been dating. And I said, you don't talk that. And then I was like, it's done. It's over. Bye. And I started heading back in the club. And all of a sudden, I felt the force of 3 horses. I just felt my body being snatched back. And when I turned around, he had grabbed me by my chain belt and snatched it. He was using my chain belt as a leash. Grabbed me by my chain belt and snatched it. And when he snatched me around and he got in my face. Like I said, he was tall. He was like, listen, let me tell you something. I don't know who you think you're talking to, baby girl. He said, but he told me, he was a tech person. He said, it ain't over till I say it's over. I said, mother, and I'm going off. I said, brother. So I go off. I try to go back in the club. Next thing you know, I get pulled again. I'm going off. And thankfully, I don't remember what he said, but I remember the last time he pulled me, I think he pulled me maybe 3 times. The last time he pulled me, I realized this was no ordinary man. I realized that in that moment, this was no ordinary man. Like, this wasn't your standard crazy. Because I dealt with the standard crazy before. There's levels to this. I realized Woody wasn't there. The lights were on, but nobody was home. I realized, yeah, this ain't that. This is a different type of beast right here. This one here is crazy. So the last time he pulled me, I'm not fearful, but I'm ready to fight. But before I can say something, I'm getting frustrated because normally a guy will let go. A man was coming up. He was like, man, let that girl go. That girl says she ain't interested in you no more. And he was like, yo, man, mind your business. And him and this guy get into an argument. This guy's taller than him. They get into an argument. He goes up into the guy's face. I utilize that as a moment to escape back into the club. I'm going back in the club. I run into the club. I go find my friend girl. And I say, hey, we got to go. Woody's losing it. And I told her briefly what had happened. She was like, girl, she had the same outfit as me. She was like, girl, I look good tonight. I'm getting phone numbers. She said, I'll talk to him, but girl, I look too good. We can't leave. And I'm like, so before she could say anything, I realized Woody's getting ready to come back in. So I use my height as an advantage. So I duck off into the crowd. I go over there to the bathrooms. The ladies' bathroom, there's a long line. The men's bathroom, there's no line. There's one man coming out. I shoved my way into the men's bathroom. Smell like pure urine. I remember it was the stinkiest thing I ever seen. Smell like ammonia up in there. And I'm against the bathroom door like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? I'm going to end that story because I got to get into the message. But I've shared that story before. Like I said, he had that patch. When he had that patch. So we end up, I find my friend girl again. I tell her, I done found her a couple of times. I found her again. I come out the bathroom. I said, seriously, this dude is crazy. Like, for real. Like, we need to go because this is not going to end well. She was like, girl, I found a couple of guys, some muscle-bound guys over there that said, when I found you to come, bring you over there, they'll protect you. I just got through watching Woody try to size up with Goliath out there. So, yeah. But I'm like, okay. I follow her. And we start going into the seating area, but it's really packed because we're in a trailer. So it's really crammed. I'm over here to the left. Woody's patch is on the right. So there's this table separating us. No, we going into the seating area. He's coming out. And there's this table that's separating. And he's standing there looking straight up ahead. I turn, I look. I'm standing there jammed up in the crowd. I turn and I look. I see him. But the patch on this side. Hopefully that's going to help out my advantage. So I just turn my head like I don't see him. Next thing you know, gravity. Bro man snatches me across this table. All I can feel is my legs coming up off the floor and I'm being snatched across the table. And before he could do anything to me, thankfully a crowd of guys grabbed him. What happened? Crowd of people grabbed him. I get loose. I run. My friend girl, she's like, come over here, come over here. Some guys over there, two muscle bound dudes. Come over here, come over here. That's when I realized muscles ain't, y'all forgive me with the muscles. You miss me with the muscles. Miss me because what's the point of getting them if you ain't gonna use them? So this is just talking, guys. I get to I'm passing them by so I can go to the other side of the table. And they were like, man, what you do to him? I'm like, no, you must have put it on. I ain't never did nothing with him. I ain't never even we ain't kissed nothing. So they were like, yeah, come over here. So I get on to the other side, which is the other side of them, which is in a corner. And they talking, they're like, yeah, we know Woody. We work with him, Woody. They said they work with him, but they used to work with him. And they were like, yeah, he cool people. He just drunk or something. I don't care what he is. I just know I want to get away from him and I don't ever want to talk to him again a day in my life. And next thing you know, I see Woody right back up in there, heading back over there. And I'm like, And when they stop and they're like, Woody. And he was like, I ain't gonna do nothing to her, man. I ain't gonna do nothing to that. And he wanted to say beat and he called, I ain't gonna do nothing. And I'm like, no, I don't want him over here. He said he ain't gonna do nothing. I'm looking at them like, got all the muscles just to come out here and be a empty, just a fixture. Woody comes over there where I am. I'm literally in a corner. So he comes over there, bends down. He said, hey, what's up? He said, so I was like, nothing. Mind you, I had my hair in a ponytail and I had a little glue in bang. You know the little glue in bang they used to wear on the side. I had a Jenny ponytail and a glue in bang. Woody says, so, and he starts playing with my bang. I was like, don't touch me. He was like, so you don't want me no more? I was like, no. Try to tell him. He was like, you don't want me no more? No. He said, I'll punch you in the face. He said, you know what it is? He talked really calm. You don't think I'll punch you, do you? You don't think? And I realized if I say, no, you wouldn't punch me, he was going to punch me. So I tried to use reverse. I said, yeah, I believe you would hit a woman. Then he was like, no, I wouldn't hit a woman. No, I wouldn't hit a bee. So you don't want me. Next thing you know, Woody grabs my bang and starts pulling. I feel the pressure. My first thought, and it's just funny, is to grab, because it's glued in. It was to grab the top of that so it wouldn't come off. That was my first thought, was to grab the top of that bang and to start trying to hit him in his face. I should have clawed that eye. But long story short, they come. Next thing you know, people start grabbing him again. They take him out the club. It's like a football team of men. But this dude was so demonized that they could barely hold him. He was so demonized. They could barely hold him. And so the guys are like, dang. And I'm looking at them like, you're useless. So long story short, at the end of it, his friend comes up to me again. He was like, hey, he don't act like that. He's just drunk. He said, but I got a bunch of guys outside there holding him so you can get to your car. He said, I need you to run. So me and my friend girl and our stilettos had to run across a parking lot covered in rocks and stilettos. And all I could hear him holler, Tiffany! And I saw him and I could tell they could not really hold him. By the time I was backing up, I saw him running and I pulled off. Bro man stalked me for 2 years. I've told the story, I'm not going to go into that, but had his girlfriend, even when I got in a relationship, had his girlfriend, it came to my house. This is the reason I say you need to talk on the phone before you agree to a date. Now, do you understand? Because some of y'all wasn't feeling that at first. When I said you need to talk on the phone first, because you want to see if they're a little bit, yeah. You want to find out where they at. Because I talked to Woody a total, from the moment we exchanged numbers to that crazy incident, 2 weeks. He was always too busy for the phone. He was one of those guys. Like I said, he was one of those guys busy. I don't know what he did for a living. Probably was selling But he was one of those guys. He loved to flash money. So typically, what he would do, he'll call me. He's like, "Hey, what do you want to? You want to grab a bite to eat? Want to go? What have you?" Or I remember him calling me one particular time, and I was on my lunch break, and I was at this restaurant with my friend girl, and he was like, where are you?" And I told him, I said, "I'm over here." He's like, "I'm gonna swing through real quick." I said, "Okay." So he was one of those guys. He would like drive by. He came in. He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he was like, "Wait, I got the tab. I got the tab. Just wanted to come by, swing by, and say hello." So he was one of those guys that if you needy, because he would drop that money on you. He was one of those guys, but he was cuckoo for cocoa puffs. Cuckoo for cocoa puffs. Right. Honestly, I think that particular friend of his, I honestly can say, I think he had, he, even though it was a friend, he came off to me, the way that he presented himself, like doing his bidding, definitely a flying monkey. But he came off like somebody that was under him, working for him, or that's the way the way that he acted. Because he was always like, he was, Woody bossed him around. That's it. Right. He was definitely an Ahab. Woody bossed him around. So that was it. So you want to make sure um, that you want to make sure that you don't say you're dating the first week. I'm giving you guys a principle. It's best to get on the phone, ask strategic questions, post a link to the card games again, ladies. Ask questions. I got 2 card games that gives you questions you can ask. Ask questions to see if he's sane enough to go on a date with. And even before you go on a date, you want to find out if you got to think end goal. This is a new spin. This is gonna be stuff you've never heard before. It's gonna bless your life. It's gonna help you. You need to find out what he wants. Like, what is your objective? I know you're not gonna say you want to marry me because you don't know me to say that. But what is your overall objective with women? I mean, I just want to kind of see where it goes. Like, what is your overall objective? So let me ask you this question: do you see yourself married? This is before I agree to a date. Do you see yourself married? How long do you think you're gonna be? How long do you believe that you need to date a woman before you get married? If he says, "Man, I don't really believe in paper," why would I go on a date with him? I'm trying to get you. Why would I go on a date with him? Because he's already established that marriage is not an end goal for anybody. Because it's always best to talk on the phone before you agree to a date. That way you don't get stalked. These days you don't get sex trafficked. Ask questions on the phone. What is your end goal? What is your end goal? And please don't think that you can change somebody's end goal. He ain't never met a woman like me. Man, you could be a good woman for a bad man. I promise you, a deceiver don't change his stripes just because you good to it. So the difference between dating and courting is that in dating, it's a worldly principle. It's all about hope. It's okay to date initially if I'm talking to him on the phone and we establish that, okay, his end goal is marriage, my end goal is marriage. He's saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Spirit. These are the requirements. You got to have a standard. If you don't have a standard, that's the equivalent of a city without walls. You got to have a standard. If he meets the standards, then we can go on a date. If he meets my standards, I'm not talking about he need to be a certain height, he need to be. No, I'm talking about, are you saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Spirit? Who is your pastor? Do you have any felonies on your record? How many kids you got? How many bodies? I mean, how many women have you been with? Like dating? Like, what do you like in relationships? Why'd you break up with the last few? Once we establish that, if he is qualified, then we can go on an interview. That's what the dating is an interview for courting. Then we can go on an interview. Now we can go out to eat because we've established that, hey, he's qualified. Doesn't mean that we're going to court, but he's qualified. Then this is new. I'm giving you something. Even in the dating, you got to give yourself a standard and a timeline. I got to talk to y'all 20-year-olds because, man, you got to give yourself a standard. I ain't kissing on this dude. We ain't gonna be, ain't no sex, none of that. I ain't going to his house, he can come to mine. You got to give yourself a standard. You have to have a standard. If you don't have a standard, you're gonna find yourself with your legs over your head in the back seat of a Buick. And that hasn't happened to me. But I'm just saying, not in the Buick, I was in the world, but you're gonna find yourself making a whole lot of mistakes that you didn't plan for because you didn't plan at all. That's why the Bible says write the vision and make it plain. You have to sit there and you have to have a standard. How long can we date before I call it quits? How long can we date before I call it quits? Because at some point it has to move into intentionality. Because I'm somebody's wife. I'm not nobody's girlfriend. And I'm not going to date you for a year. 90 days of dating. 90 days. Anything after that, you have to establish either we go into a friendship, we just cool. Because after 90 days, men are the surest creatures on the face of this planet. I can't say that enough. If you do this, you can do this as a test to your Facebook profile. Ask every married man how long did he date or court his wife before he realized that she was the one. I guarantee you 90% of them are going to tell you within 90 days. I guarantee you. You can give 90 days, 6 months, however, but there has to be a cutoff time for you. You have to establish that. You have to establish, okay, it's been 3 months and he's not saying anything about courtship, exclusivity, us getting to know each other on that level, us potentially pursuing something greater. It's been 3 months. It's been 6 months. Now I don't know about y'all. I won't do 6 months, but there's been that time. It's got to be intentionality. If not, you're gonna keep dating a bunch of grown boys and hoping for the best, because that's what dating is all about, hoping. Fingers crossed. Y'all be out here trying to win losers. Y'all, I'm saying that to say, like I said, I've had plenty of conversations, and I realized just where we are right now, the next generation, these kids that are growing up right now, I can honestly tell you, they're growing up to mothers that are broken. Mothers, they're growing up without fathers. Mothers and fathers who are contending with each other. Mothers who have multiple men coming in the houses. Y'all ain't gonna like the adult version of these kids that's coming up right now, because honor has gone out the window. So I tell people all the time, I love y'all, America. Our country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. But I'm gonna liberate myself to another country. In my old age, I don't want to be in America because I see where it's heading. My old age, God willing, when I retire, Lord, let me retire somewhere where Christian standards, God's word is prevailing. Because I don't want to be at the mercy of the kids that are growing up right now. I don't want to be at the mercy of those kids. No honor, no respect, no love for themselves, traumatized. All right, let's move on. These were 5 commonly asked questions, and we're an hour in. I ain't even got to the second one. Someone I'm dating let's see what I wrote down, just told me that he's not ready for commitment, but he wants to keep seeing me. What should I do? He's not ready for commitment. Remember, I told you have to have a standard. You got to have, like, okay, you date me for 3 months. After the 3 months, we have to have a revisitation or what have you. And honestly, I think you don't have to put that standard on an adult man, on somebody who's intentional. He gonna tell you. If you got to put it on a guy, that typically is usually already an indicator that he's probably not the one. But I'll read that again. Someone I'm dating just told me that he's not ready for commitment. I've heard this multiple times this week, but he wants to keep seeing me. What should I do? Bounce. You got to understand the concept of a soul tie. I always tell people this, and I wish y'all could hear me. Men are the surest creatures on the face of this planet. If a man wants you, you will know it. I have never had in my whole wild life to question whether or not a man wanted me. If I questioned it, he didn't want me, or he didn't want me enough for me to even be interested. They are actually accepting that nowadays. Here in Georgia, that's normal. We're going to talk about principalities soon. Oh, I got y'all. If I know, it depends on what your end goal is. For me, I'm a wife. I'm not interested in being nobody. I ain't finna be nobody's bedroom buddy. I ain't finna be none of that stuff. It's marriage or get the heck out of my face. If I'm talking to a guy and he tells me I'm not looking for anything serious right now, I just want to see you and we'll see where this goes. I'm gonna tell him I'm not the girl for you. Cause let me interpret it. Interpret it. You have to see yourself that way as a wife. Let me interpret what he's saying to you. I told y'all I speak Mangalese. He's saying, after talking to you, I realized that you're not somebody that I would want to continue dating. You're not somebody, thank you, Sister Joy, God bless you. You're not somebody that I would want to date long term. But I do think you're pretty. I do think you're relatively interesting. Thank you, Sister Consuelo, God bless you. I do think that you're interesting. So I don't necessarily want to close the door on you just yet. But I want to see what I can get from you. When he says, I want to see where this can go, I want to see if I can get you in a bedroom. I'm speaking Mangalese to you. You need an interpreter. You need a translator. I got you. I got you. I'm gonna open a tab on my website. Watch me. It's gonna be like the translator. That's what I'm gonna put up there. I'm gonna put a tab on my website. I'll probably put it up there tonight. Called the translator. Paste the text, what somebody tells you, and I will translate it for you. Whenever I do a question and answers live, I will translate it for you. I will tell you what he's really saying. So when a man says that to you, let me translate. He's saying, I haven't found a wife in you. I don't really think that you're wife material, but I do think you're pretty and you're interesting. And I don't want to be without you because I don't feel like being bored. I want to see what I can get out of you. Let me check the temperature of your self-esteem. Is it dead? If it is, I want to bed you. I want to play games with you. And then if you get soul tied, if you start acting crazy, I'm going to sit here and remind you of this conversation. Brothers, let me know. Did I interpret it well? I speak Mangalese. I want to flip it up, rub it down. Was it smack it up, flip it, rub it down? Oh no. I want you to go cry. Now I don't want you to see nobody else though. Because I'm a territorial man. Lift my leg up, pee on you. But I want you to be over here because I don't know if I could be without a female. So I'll come back to you once. Now, when I meet my wife, when I meet a woman that's worth my time, then I'll dismiss you. But I may give you a call back because I really don't want you to move on because, in case I want to have a little fun with you. Does your self esteem have a pulse? And y'all wonder why I'm single? Because I don't play with that kind of stuff. I don't play those type of games. Bro, nay. Nay. So if someone you're dating tells you he's not ready for a commitment, bounce. Just say it in the comment. I respect that. And I have no problem with that. And I'm really grateful that you told me that. But with that said, I am somebody's wife, and I don't believe in allowing one person to occupy my husband's parking space. So, with that being said, we're gonna have to lose contact from now on. But just know that I have no hard feelings. Oh, so it's like that. I honestly, I mean no hard feelings. Like I'm not offended with you, and I hope you don't get offended with me. You told me this is your decision, and I told you this is my decision. That's what you want to know. What dating looks like. Somebody writes the terms out of the contract on a piece of paper. This is what you. This is what's going to take to be with me. This is going to take. This is going to take. Oh, okay. And they hand it over to you. You're sitting across the table. Thanks. You look up there. If you keep dating them, you just agree to the terms. That's a passive dating. That man is still dating you, even though he said he's not interested. Call me a lie. Because some of you agreed to it before. Call me a lie. Come on. He's still dating you. You can't date nobody else. It's a misogynistic mindset. You can't date nobody else. Even though he says, I mean, I'm seeing people. I got friends, so you go see other people. I don't see nothing wrong with that. He's seeing somebody else, but you try seeing somebody else. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen. I speak Mangalese. I speak it fluently. Okay, so what's gonna happen is you meet another person because you know he already said he don't want a serious commitment, but he want to keep talking to you. He does have other female friends. Okay, you meet another person. Let me show you what's gonna happen. He calls you one day. The two timer, the one that didn't want to make any commitment because he wanted to thought it out. He calls you one day. You don't answer your phone because you're on the phone with the other dude. So you just like you say in your head, I'll call him back. So finally you call him back. Hey, what's up? He's like, so because he wants to know what's going on with you because men are territorial. So you're not answering my phone calls now. No, I was actually on the other line. Yeah, I kind of picked that up. So who you was talking to? Wait, hold up, bro. Didn't you just tell me? You told me that we are not in a relationship, that you just wanted to be friends. So now I'm not saying jealous, and I'm just asking. Well, I don't want to have a conversation about that because I don't ask you about who you're on the phone with. So I'm gonna call you back. He gonna stop calling you. Or if you say, I was talking to a guy by the name of Jacob. Jacob. So who's Jacob? Jacob is someone that I met and we're talking. That's it. Talking. So what you mean by talking? Dude, just like you and I talk on the phone. So that's your man? We're trying to see where it's gonna go. So that's messed up. So here it is. Thank you, Sister Amber. God bless you. Here it is. Man, been thinking lately. I'm gonna show you the mind game. You're gonna play with you. I was thinking lately, I was about to, I called a few females and I told them, I think I am ready to be serious. So I called some girls and I was telling them, that I wanted to, I wasn't gonna be able to talk to them anymore because I wanted to just focus on, somebody special in my life. And that's what I was calling you for. When I called you and you didn't answer your phone, I was calling you to see if we could go we could be in an exclusive relationship. But since you're seeing somebody. Why are we talking about pet milk? Get him some water and milk. Now, y'all are silly. I just told you what's gonna happen. I just told you how that's gonna play out. When a man says to you, you can go see other people. I don't want anything serious. He knows that you're probably not going to do that out of fear that he's going to finally make up his mind about you. You better stop allowing yourself to be some dude's option. Whenever you allow yourself to be somebody's option, it works against your self-esteem. Don't you dare do that to yourself. Don't you dare do that to yourself. He going to play that game with you. And that's it. What he's saying is, I want you to be on my menu. I want to be like, who do I feel like? I feel like talking a little bit freaky today. Such and such be talking freaky to me. You know what? Today I feel Christian. Sound of angels in the background. I feel like calling. I want to talk. I want to talk about purpose and God and building. You weren't built for that. That's why it breaks you. You weren't built for that. You weren't built for somebody to be an option. You weren't built to have somebody playing games with your head. I don't play those type of games. And that's a generational thing too. That's a generational thing. That's not a Mississippi thing. That's a generational thing. I don't play games. I don't do that game thing. All right. Next question. My boyfriend recently told me that he can't wait until marriage for sex. How should I respond? You say, I respect that. And I'm thankful to you for being honest with me. But at this particular point, I think that it's best for us to go our separate ways. There's no disrespect to you. I think that there's a perfect person out there for you. I'm just not the one. You can either say that to him now or you can be cheated on later. He's basically giving you a crossroads test. It's now a test, is now you gotta choose my will or God's will. That's what that is. Either you come into my will or God's will, which one is it gonna be? If somebody tells you that they have no self control, end it. That's why I got this right over here by me. Because my allergies have been trying me today, y'all. I told you this eye is red. I don't know. My eye been red for the last couple of days. I don't know what's going on. I hope this is not permanent, but it is what it is. Right. So he can say he cheated on her later. If a guy tells you that he cannot wait till marriage, if he's admitting to having no self-control. Self-control is not fixed in marriage, y'all. It's not a sex. It is never a sex thing. It is never a sex thing. It's a power thing. It's spiritual. Your war is not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and the rulers of this dark world, spiritual wickedness in high places. I got to move on because I do have quite a bit more to give you guys. Those are the commonly asked questions. The point is, if somebody tells you they have no self-control, believe them and let them go. Somebody tells you they have no self-control, believe them and let them go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Okay. Y'all want another story time, another funny story time, or you want me to move on? If you want another story time, raise your hand. If you want me to move on, just say move on. Give me a moment. Another story time. I was thinking about another funny story. Probably shared it before, but another funny story that happened when I was in the world. Story time, raise your hand. If not, just move on. Let me know. Y'all need to be praying for these allergies, like for real. This stuff ain't no fun. That's the thing. When I move, whenever I'm banking like that, I'm buying property in Florida. I don't care. This time of the year, I'm going to Florida. Okay, story time. Everybody said they love story time. Y'all want a funny story time? Okay, this is club days, whirly days. I was at the club one night with a friend of mine. Just me and her. We at this club. We dancing. We having a good time. And so this guy walks up and he starts trying to talk to me. We had a couple of move-ons. Well, y'all got outweighed. Thank you, Octavia. God bless you. So yeah, I have some allergy stuff, but it's over the counter. But yeah, this is horrible. But this guy comes walking up, completely not my style of dude. Completely, utterly, wholeheartedly, without a shadow of doubt, not my style. Period. Point blank. It is what it is. Not my style of dude. He wasn't my style because he had gold teeth in his mouth. He had rings on his finger. That not my style. No, not my style. So he comes up and he starts talking to me. But even though he's really flashy, he's real humble. He comes up and he kind of sits down and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" He said, "What's your name?" I said, "Tiffany." Now my friend girl, she's sitting on the side of me. And he looks over at her. He calls her by her name. He said, "What's up?" And they kind of laugh. And she's like, "What's up with your brother?" And he's like, he didn't want to come out tonight or what have you. So he keeps talking to me. I'm in shoot him down mode because that ain't my style. And that's not for me. So he was like, "You guys want something to drink?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Yeah, get her." Because I used like Tom Collins. "Get her Tom Collins and get me this." And he was like, "All right, I'll be back." So he goes up to the bar and she says, "Girl, that dude banking, like him and his brother. She said, I'm serious. She said, he real cool. She said, don't get caught up with this. He real cool. But I'm telling you, she said, I mean, just be his friend. Just be his friend. He's not a bad person. I'm telling you, you'll like him, his character. He's a really good person. They real cool. Still not my style. But I decided, okay, I'll be nice. He comes back with the drinks. I talk to him. And this goes back to talk on the phone before you date, before you do anything. We get on the phone briefly and he says, hey, let's go out. And I was like, where do you want to go? He said, you want to go to the club together, as a date. And I thought that was weird to go on a date, a club date, but I agreed to it. We decided to go to Old Trusted Impressions. Old Impressions. This is the place I got snatched across the table. I don't know if that was before that incident or after, but we decided to go to Trusted Impressions. And the goal was we were supposed to meet up there. And I remember being low on gas because I remember telling him, and he was like, I got you when I get there. I'll make sure I fill up your tank. I was like, okay. He was like, just meet me at Impressions or whatever. So I get there before him. He calls my phone. He's like, I'm running like 20 minutes behind. I apologize. Just, wait there for me. You can wait in your car or what have you. Or if you pay, I'll take care of you when you get in. I said, okay. So I go stand out there. I decide, get in line, just go ahead and pay for myself. And then, I'll let him pay me back. So we get up there. I get up there, I'm standing in line. These two dudes walk up to me. Black guy and a white guy. First was the white guy trying to talk to me. White guy comes up, who's relatively cute. He's talking. Then the black guy comes and Jezebels him. The white guy's talking. And I'm just like, I'm talking to him. And he says, so what's up with you? You got a man? And I'm just saying, no, not really, but I'm here on a date. And he was like, nobody care about your date. And he talking. And then the black guy comes up there. He's like, nah, man, you wouldn't know what to do with a girl like that. So he just kind of punks the white guy, even though that's his friend. He kind of punks him out the way. White guy kind of backs up. This dude is aggressive. He's like, what's your name? All this. So I told him, not him, I'm shooting him down. Period. I'm shooting him down because I don't like the way he just did his friend. I'm shooting him down. Not interested. I got a date on the way. You got a man? I said, yes, he's on the way. He said, why is he late? I said, I don't know. He said, if you was my girl, I wouldn't be late. I was like, well, I'm not your girl. He's like, if you was my old lady, he said, that's just disrespectful for a man to leave a woman like you out. He talking. Can we move this line, please? Can we move this line? He was like, I got you. I paid for you. I was like, no, because I already knew. Finally, my date shows up while I'm still in line. He comes up and he walks up to me. I said, there's my guy right there. He comes up and I'm like, come on up here. Come on up here. So the black guy was like, so he keeps trying to talk to me while the dude is there. And the guy was like, excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, sir. She's with me. And the guy said, you late. And so next thing you know, they get into the guy that was standing there with me while he looked all criminal activity. Like he's standing there. I realized I don't believe in men fighting. I was in the world, y'all. I realized he's scared. That's fine. But I realized like, I think we need to go. Because, when you're dealing with worldliness or what have you, if the guy shows fear, they're going to bother him all night. It's exactly what happened. They get into an argument. And the guy that was with me, he was like, man, I'm not here for any trouble. I don't want no trouble, what have you. And I'm like, yeah, just go away. Like, it's not that serious. And he was like, nah, man, he said, he lost out when he showed up late. We get in the club. The guy comes up. He keeps coming over there tapping. He's like, so what's up? And I'm like, dude, go away. He literally keeps coming. Then they keep getting into an argument. I wish I had my rings over here. The club they getting into an argument. The other guy is just lights on, nobody's home. He's talking crazy. He was like, hey, I'll catch you outside. He said to the dude, he was like, I'll catch you outside. I got you. I got you. I'll catch you outside. I'm like, dude. And the guy that I'm on a date with, the club, I'm like, okay, the whole time, I'm like, let's dance. He was like, nah. The whole time we on a date, this is literally what I see. Hello? Yeah, man. I'm over here at Impressions. Yeah, got some knucklehead. Yeah, got to roll. Yeah, you can stand down. Just stand down for a little bit, but I'm gonna call you back. Yeah, I'm about to call Pee Wee. All right. I'm like, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. I'm about to get another beer. Would you like to dance? No, not yet. That's the story. End of story. That was a funny thing. So I called my friend girl. I said, don't you ever in your whole life try to hook me up with nobody. First and foremost, a club was a weird place to try to take somebody on a date to. Then secondly, this dude did not even have a good time because he was scared of a bunch of other dudes. And one thing about it is, like I said, it wasn't the thing about fear. It's okay to not want to fight. You shouldn't be fighting. What was bothersome to me at that moment, I remember, was the extreme amount of fear that he showed, which caused the other guy to bully him the whole time. The extreme amount of fear that he showed, which caused the other guy to keep coming over there. The other guy came up to me. He was like, don't look like he want to dance. He said, I want to dance with you. I was like, go away. I'll fight you. I'll fight you. So gone. And he turned around. He's like, man, she said, leave her alone. She said, leave her alone, man. I need an officer. All right, all right, all right, all right. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give you guys some pointers. I almost feel like I'm still shaking, just being funny, but that was a thing. That was not that great of a grand of a story, but that story was hilarious to me because it involved that same club. I thought about it when I was sharing that story, but that whole night I was just taken aback by the fact that this dude literally, you could see him trembling, and I was thinking to myself, just ignore him. That's what I'm thinking to myself. Just ignore him. But he wouldn't. He just had his mind made up and he just spent the whole night. Got that beer? And I'm sitting there like, you good? You good? You want to leave? You want to go somewhere else? I'm good. Too prideful to leave. But it was just a mess. All right. So, yeah, you see the person under pressure. He did. He called the cops. So I'm gonna give you guys this. I'm gonna give you 10 pointers, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna give you 10 pointers for dating and courting out here in this world. Remember, dating is not the same as courting. Also, there's nothing wrong with dating initially, because first and foremost, you have to establish whether or not the person is courtable. Or so, first level. Let me just make sure I make it plain for you. First level, talk on the phone for at least a week or 2 weeks before you agree to go on a date. Talk on the phone. Now, there has to be intentionality where you talk daily. A man that's interested in you is going to want to talk to you every day. I'm sorry. I got to put it out there. A man that's not interested in you, there are men who want your attention, but not you. And you got to know the difference. A man who, whenever you're pursued, a man who genuinely likes you, there's an intentional and a relatively aggressive pursuit of you. Like there is no question as to whether or not, because like when I was talking about my friend girl, she was talking about guys that, she dated in her head. And I was like, yeah, I said, I've done that, but I've never taken that seriously. I've always, realized that, hey, that's just a little funny thing that it's almost like playing with Ken and Barbie. I said, but you don't put thought into that. You don't put feelings into that kind of stuff or what have you. But I realized that a lot of people do that, but I also realized, remember I told you the concept of the dog turning his head, that's really not a good practice. It's always a good idea to just remain intentional, remain focused on your end goals. On your end goals. All right. So I'm going to give you 10 pointers, And I believe that it's going to help you. And that's that. Somebody said something. Living his presence. Pastor found solution to her allergy. She wants to help people with it. She suffered much. Okay, yeah, you can post it. Post it up. Okay. Amen. Amen. Okay, so number one, date on purpose, court in purpose. Date on purpose, court in purpose. So remember, there are three levels to this. First is deciding if we want to date. That's the first conversation. First few conversations is me getting to know him, him getting to know me, or you getting to know him, him getting to know you. For my brothers, you getting to know her, and y'all are basically kind of establishing like what's the premise, like what is your end goal? What is your end goal? What is it that you're looking for? Are you dating other people? What are your beliefs? Because it doesn't look the same for everybody. Some people are completely okay, and I found that in Georgia that's really normalized. Some people are okay with being friends with somebody, and them, like, if I met a guy, like, one thing that's normalized here in Georgia, if I met a guy and he says, I really like you, but I'm not gonna lie, I got other female friends. They're just friends. I want to get to know them, and you can get to know other people as well. Some people are okay with that. That goes outside of my culture and my generational culture, what have you. But some people are okay with that. If that's you, that's your business. Just don't be crazy with that. Don't let him lock you in where you can't talk to other guys, or he puts you on punishment for talking to other guys by acting funny with you or doing kind of that kind of nonsense. Don't don't let somebody be a hypocrite. And yeah, if you're in different cities, out, yeah. If you're equally yoked, and there's purpose there. There has to be purpose, there has to be intentionality, there has to be a pursuit, there has to be sacrifice. If not all of those things are present, then it's a waste of time. So you date on purpose. So again, if that's something you agree to, it's not entirely bad, but you have to establish, and you have to have enough maturity as it relates to yourself to not get your feelings involved in that. One, don't be kissing on this dude. Don't let him passively date you. And then next, give him a realistic view of what that looks like. Because what that looks like, if I agree to something like that, what that will look like is I would definitely see other guys, you know, and I wouldn't be, but as soon as somebody that I'm mutually interested in says to me, I want to date you exclusively, bro, you getting the cut. I don't care if you just had an epiphany. I don't care. But I'm not interested in that style of dating because it brings too much confusion. It sets the stage for a whole lot of hurt feelings or what have you. But I'm saying, if you should agree to that, no, God is a God of intentionality. But if you should agree to that, there has to be a level of maturity on your part. There has to be an understanding on his part where you say, hey, listen, I know you're saying that, but most guys don't really believe that. I am going to date other people. So please let me go ahead and sign this off for you. Don't come to me talking about you get to that point where you've decided that you want to be be intentional about me, because that doesn't mean I want to be intentional about you. Because once our friends on you, that's pretty much where you're gonna get left at. Now, there's nothing wrong. Let me establish this. There's nothing wrong with building friendships before relationships. I am completely for that. The difference between that and what I'm talking about here is a guy that tries to romantically link himself to you, but then take you off of the market in so many ways while dating other people and dating you. I'm not dating a friend. I'm not dating a friend. A friend is somebody I talk on the phone with every now and again. What's up? That's it. What's up? What you doing? There's nothing wrong with a male and a female being friends. If you like him and he like you, if y'all are able, there's levels of maturity that has to take place. So I'm completely a proponent. I support being friends first. I support that wholeheartedly. I think that's important. I support being friends first. What I don't support is confusion. Am I making sense? Because I want to make sure I don't confuse anybody. If I dated a man for 16 years and he hasn't married me yet, should I stay in a relationship? I would dump him. That dude would have been dumped 15 years ago. So you 15 years behind. I will let him go. I will let him go. I will let him go. You got to always, first and foremost, this is how you get to a destination. Real quick. Real quick, real quick, real quick. This is you. If you meet somebody and you got a blank slate, he can take you wherever he wants to take you. But if you outside of this guy make it up in your mind that you have a destination in mind, this is your destination. Your destination is to be, this is just one of the pointers, is to be a wife. It's like getting in an Uber. If I say I have a destination here, but you going this way, I'm calling the cops. Let me out of this car because we're not going in the same direction. So before I get into the ride, this is why you talk to him first. Before I get into the car, I already pretty much know where I'm going. I know some of the landmarks. I know some of the things. So before I talk to this guy, I already have it in my mind how long I'm willing to date before marriage, how long I'm willing to talk to the guy before dating, how long I'm willing to date the guy before courting, how long I'm willing to court the guy before marriage. I already got it in my mind, right? We can talk about that. We can communicate. We can reason on that because I can't control him. He can't control me. He can say, hey, I think that's a little too fast. I don't know if I like, and we can talk about that. But that's the end goal. If at any point in the relationship, I notice that rather than taking me up here, he starts taking me down here. What I'm supposed to do is stop the car, stop. Because it's almost time for me to get out. What's happening? What's happening? Okay, going back to our initial the conversation we had back then. I'm a wife. I like you, but I'm not doing this. So what's happening here? I'm just confused. I'm going through some stuff right now. Okay, so let me get out the car. Right now, let me get out the car. I need you to go figure your life out. I'm just saying, no, I want to. No. That's not an option. It's not an option to have me confused and drive me all over the place because then you'll drive me crazy. That's not an option. So where are we heading? You have to ask questions. You got to be willing to stop that vehicle at any given time and get out of it. You got to be willing to stop that vehicle at any given time and get out of it. You know what stops women from doing that? Because after you've wasted a lot of time into it, you've invested a lot of time and you don't want to start over. I've been there before. You don't want to start over. You don't want to go back out there on the market. You feel like I've already made it past all of these hard things. I got to start that over with somebody else. I look at it this way. I don't want the wrong man blocking the right one. You got to have a focus. You got to have a goal. And that way, when you see somebody taking you you have to establish that while you're single, you have to have an end goal. So no, it's not too late to get out of it. You have to heal. You have to do some extensive healing. But it's far better than staying in it another 10 years and not being married, as opposed to healing and potentially being married in 2 years, right? From somebody that comes along and says, hey, I know what I want. I know what I want. Date on purpose, court in purpose. Date on purpose. Hey, you got 3 months before we gotta dating. Okay, 3 points. We're talking on the phone before we agree to a date. Once we agree to a date, now we're in a time of communication, right? So what we're doing is we're trying to decide what we want to do. So if he says, honestly, I like you as a person. I think you're really cool. And I'm not ready to commit to a relationship just yet. Yeah, but I'm somebody's wife. So I'm not I'm just saying I want to be your friend and to see where they go. I don't get in an Uber drive. I don't get in an Uber car for them to see where it goes. I understand that every relationship is going to be a see where it goes type thing, but right now you don't seem sure about yourself. So let me get out the vehicle right now. And I think you need to go out there and count a date. You need to go out there and, see what's out there, what have you. If I'm available and still interested when you come back, if you come back around, then I'll talk to you. But I'm more of an intentional person. I'm not that type of person. Well, so you saying we can't just be friends or what have you? I'm saying that I won't date you if I'm your friend. Meaning I'm not going out to eat with you. We're not holding hands. It ain't gonna be no kissing, no confusing talk, no good night text messages. I'm going to talk to other people, and once you're in the friend zone, you're probably not gonna get out of that unless I really feel like you are the one. Oh wow. So there's nothing wrong, and I'm trying not to be confusing in that, but there's nothing wrong with being friends. I completely support it, but just don't bring confusion into it. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't bring confusion into it. So if I'm friends with a guy, we're not. I'm not gonna be saying, "Hey, baby." He ain't gonna be like, "Hey, beautiful." Don't do that. Don't do that, dude. Don't do that. I'm gonna talk to you like a dude. Hey, what's up? What's up? I'm gonna talk to you on that level. I'm not gonna play games with you. Number two, salvation should be a non-negotiable. Write it in the chat. Even to my lurkers, I love y'all. My lurkers that don't say nothing. Y'all just be sitting over there being all cute. Salvation is a non-negotiable. To my brothers in Christ, I love y'all. Y'all better stop going out here dating these unsaved girls and then complaining. They're taking it out on Christian women. How do you know he's your God or name? Okay. Y'all better stop going out here. Women do it as well, but I've had to talk to a lot of brothers. A lot of brothers out here traumatized. By the time you get to a Christian woman, you don't even know what to do. All these women, oh, please go heal. Please. There are therapists out there, please. Salvation is a non-negotiable. And by salvation is not just confessing Jesus as Lord, but making sure the person is living a Christian lifestyle. Y'all better stop being attracted to these worldly folks, then turning around getting traumatized by them. And then now you over here, Christian people come around, you don't even know what to do. To my sisters, see you. See you too. Number three, test the spirit. This is important. Remember I told y'all this is going to be a new spin? This is important. Number three, test the spirit. We already know that. Find the principle and you'll discover the principality. This is something God was ministering to me earlier. After listening to a whole lot of talk about Georgia guys and just really listening to Georgia guys talk about Georgia women, I'm like, yeah, I see why you better have God on the forefront of your relationship. Like you better say, God, in the name of Jesus, Father, protect me from the wrong man. Don't let me, God, oh God, drive him away, take away the taste. If you don't approve him, take the taste out of his mouth. Don't let him be interested in me whatsoever. I don't mind a disappointment. That's why you get God involved. That's why you get. I'm telling you, I put God, Lord, me, dead or the bullshit. Hey, all right. Find the principle, and you'll discover the principality. So, over Georgia, there's a principality. Over Florida, there's a principality. Over the different cities, there are different principalities. Well, there are principalities, then there are going to be rulers. But over Mississippi, there's a principality. So some of the principalities over Mississippi is poverty. It's the poorest state in the United States of America. Wherever you're going to see poverty, you're going to see other ruling spirits, which include perversion. You're going to see high level perversion. You will see high levels of rejection. You will see high levels of divorce. You will see high levels of adultery. You will see high levels of all kinds of crazy stuff that come with perversion, fatherlessness. You see a whole lot of that stuff. That's how that works. So just the principle. This is something God was meant. He said, before you, and this is one of the ways to test the spirit, find out first what city and state this dude comes from. What's the principle there? Principalities are established by principles. It's the principles of people. So if you took a family of 20 people, tossed them into a ghost town, there's nobody living in that town, and you had them to populate that city. or let's just take two different families because they can't be related because we only know incest. But you take two families. You take this family of 20 people, this family of 20 people, you toss them into a ghost town. What's going to happen is the families have cultures, traditions, and principles. They're going to come, and where they don't agree, there's going to be duels and fighting. There's going to be this contention or what have you, because it's a war of principles. Whatever principle wins, that's going to start being normalized. So if the guys believe that they should be able to have sex with the women without having any type of commitment, then that's going to be a principle that's established. So you're going to see a lot of men running through women. The guys have established this principle. Once that principle is established and it becomes normalized, then it sets the stage or a seat for a principality, which is a unclean spirit. That principality is going to be a ruling spirit over that particular place. You're going to also see other ruling spirits like fatherlessness, rejection. So it's always a good idea to understand what principality he grew up under so you can understand his principles. Does that make sense? Like I said, this is not one of those things that's going to be like what you commonly get. This is one of those lessons that's going to be like, okay, I've never heard that before. Find out his principles. Now you may say, well, Tiffany, what if he's saved? You still need to find out his principles, because finding out the principality helps you to understand what he struggled with before he got saved, so you can understand the residue, you can understand the behaviors, the beliefs, you can understand the different things, because he got traumatized out there before he got saved by that principality. Am I making sense? He got traumatized by that principality. So consequently, he's still moving a certain way. So if the principality, like in Georgia, they run through each other. Promiscuity, no dedication, commitment, fatherlessness, rejection, distrust. If that's the principality, that's going to be the seat of his principles, or I can understand now the distrust. Don't mean I got to submit to it. The distrust. Because now I'm like, so who is that talking to you? Okay, I think you're gonna have to get some. I think we're gonna talk about this, like for real. I think you're gonna have to get some counseling, because you're gonna have to get to the point where we can communicate without you acting crazy. Like, because what I'm not about to be is an abused woman because of it. I ain't going. Find the principle. How do you find a principality? Find a principle. Just sit there and talk, have conversations. Oh yeah, I'm finding out more and more when I come around more women and listening. I'm finding out more and more about and just TikTok, even just people talking about in TikTok dating out in Georgia. It's for the world is a hot mess. For the church, residue. I mean, so it helps you to understand the principle or what have you. It helps you to understand. So find out what's the principality over that region. Next thing, what's the principle over his family? What's the principality? There's a ruling spirit over the family. What happens in his family? Is there a divorce? Do they not get married? Do they give up easy? Find that stuff out. Find that stuff out, because you got to know what to look for. You got to know what to look for. This is why the Bible says, count the cost before you build a thing. That's one of the things. This is something God ministered to me. And me and God's just daddy-daughter time. One of the things he mentioned to me is that the reason there are so many hurting people out there is because they didn't take one of the most simplest principle, which is count the cost first. Y'all ain't counting the cost. That means if I talk to this guy a week and we decide to date, dating him is going to give me a breakdown of what it's going to be like to not only court, but to potentially marry him. Oh, he got this, and we're going to deal with this. Can I pay that price? Can I pay that? Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's why y'all have so many unfinished projects. You got so much unfinished things because you keep on building and then you realize I don't have enough patience to keep building this. That's why you have all these beautiful relationships. They start off so pretty. And you get excited, he get excited, everybody around y'all. They're like, y'all are such a cute couple. Thank you. Oh, we're gonna have babies. Babies. Many, plenty of them. We're gonna do this. And next thing you know, they see you again and you at the mall shopping by yourself. Oh, where your man? What man? You talking about Woody? You talking about ghosting guys left and right. That's not good, sis. So what that does is it brings a bunch of trauma to you. That's why you don't want you want to be mindful that you don't give out your contact information. So I think one of the things I missed to say is I test people on the spot. Like if I don't know if they're in church, I test them on the spot. I say, "Where are you in Christ?" That's one of the precursors before getting my phone number. Where are you in Christ? Then on the phone, I am not agreeing to a date immediately. I want to see what's your end goal, how you doing. You ever can I put if I pull you up on milkshots.com, am I gonna pull up a profile? Um, Tell me some of the things like what are your what do you like to do for a living? How many kids you have? Why did you and the mother break up? Those type of things before I go on a date. So I got to make sure that we are, and let them know, hey, well, I'm this type of person, what have you. Then we can decide to date. And on dating, then you start getting to know each other a little bit better. And then that's the time you start deciding if you want to court. But you don't want to give a lot of guys your number and have to ghost them, because then what that does is it starts breaking your trust with men. And I've seen this happen with women, and women start talking negative about men, because reality is the majority of the men that you come in contact with are not the one. They're not going to be somebody that you're going to spend your time with. So it brings about a lot of trauma. It brings about a lot of trauma whenever I come across a woman who's constantly having to cut men off. You can tell from her language. She'd be like, these men, these men, these men. It's too much. So find the principle and you'll discover the principality. Find it. And then you have to count the cost, right? You got to sit there and say, okay, so the men in your family, they're divorced. Everybody leaves everybody. What have you done to rectify that? I mean, I ain't gonna leave nobody. I'm a committed man. We all say that. Come on, that's beautiful to say, and I am really confident that you believe that in your heart. I don't think you're lying at all. I believe you say that you believe that, but I don't think you're talking from a place of inexperience. When you get to that space that your daddy fell off, that your granddaddy fell off, that your uncles fell off, you're gonna fall off too. If you don't have anybody that leads you beyond that point. Okay, okay, let's talk about this. I give you another drawing? I'll draw on the back of the paper so I can stop wasting paper. All right, I'm gonna give you another drawing. I'm gonna have to waste because I can only do it this way. All right, I'm gonna show you something else. This is your dude that you're talking to. All right, this is him that you're talking to. This is the spectrum of life. We'll say this is the spectrum of relationships. Okay, give me a second. All right, this is your guy. So first and foremost, one of the things you have to find out on this line, how long was his longest relationship? Because what you're trying to discover is a pattern of behavior. What you're discovering is the stronghold. How long was your longest relationship? He says 3 years. Okay. You gauge that by his age. 3 years. Okay, why is that? Next, over the course of time, I want to find out how long was your daddy and your mom together? 5 years. Okay. So now you got him. That's his dad at the 5 year mark. He's got to the 3 year mark, but his dad fell off at the 5 year mark. Okay. How long is your dad's longest relationship with a woman? The woman he with right now, they've been together 2.5 years. She got about 6 months left. Okay. Um, what about your granddad? Oh, my granddad and grandma never married. You know what you just did? You just discovered a curse. You just discovered a curse. Now, that isn't to say that you disregard the person. It is to say that on this spectrum, there should be some intentionality on his part to break this curse. Because what happens is, y'all ready? What happens is your parents go before you. They illuminate this space, which makes it easier for you. But if daddy stopped right here, it's dark up ahead, meaning son not gonna know what to do. When he gets to that space in a relationship where everything levels off, when you're sitting there and you got to make the excitement now. But then you got all these young pretty things that's this darkness. He doesn't know what happens. Now, catch this. Intentionality. If he has a spiritual father, a mentor, somebody that has gotten way over here that he's submitted to, there's some hope. If he's intentionally going to the person, I'm not just talking about he go to church and he said, that's my spiritual father. No, if he going to the person and he's saying, hey, I want this curse broken. I don't want. So this person has gone ahead of him and illuminated the way. And as long as he submit, please tell me if I'm making sense. He's gone ahead of him and illuminated the way. So as long as he's submitting and following his counsel, it's going to be easier. I'm trying to show you the need for father. Y'all got to tell me if I'm making sense. Because if I'm talking crazy out in these streets, let me know. Because like I told y'all, these eyes is, if he has not gotten beyond here, if his dad never got beyond here, this is dark. And if what comes with darkness is insecurity, there's going to be a level of fear that he starts to exhibit as you approach the deep and go into the depth of that relationship. There's going to be a fear of y'all gonna start asking each other questions. You good? You good? Over the course of time, he's gonna start feeling like the one thing I learned in life that's really dangerous for a man to say, I don't feel like I'm good enough for you. That is a dangerous thing for a man to say. Because right then and there, he will be with you while trembling, and he's gonna find somebody else that makes him feel good, where he feels like I need somebody of a lower quality, a lower standard, because that has everything to do with how he sees himself. A positive step parent example. Yes, any man that has come into his life and demonstrate, he has to have no. Daddy didn't illuminate the path, because that's the purpose of fathers. That's the purpose of mothers, is to illuminate the path so that they've already conquered what's in the darkness. So daddy can say, I've been there before. He says, Dad, I ain't gonna lie to you. She annoys me. Come home every day. Even the way she chew like Mr. Ed, Dad. She up in there, I get annoyed. And his dad said, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Your mother used to chew like a choking duck, and I couldn't stand it. And I used to get really annoyed with her. And I talked to her about it. Come to find out, her bridges were hurting. It was time for her to get, some work done. And I told her, I was like, please go to the doctor, and I got some counseling on that or what have you. And we got past that. And so now, or Dad, there's this girl on my job. Dad, I like this girl. Okay, I understand. Been there before. That was his time. That was this girl on my job. Because dad knows how that's going to end. If dad's still with mama, he broke that curse. Dad knows how to get past that. But if dad never broke that curse, he don't know how to get past that. He'd be like, what she look like? Dad, small waistline. I mean, but you got a good wife at home. I'm just saying, try to be good. I know, Dad. But Dad is also a little bit interested. He has to have somebody that's gone further than his father. It's the same thing for you. So don't think you exempt. If all you've seen is the women in your family thotting it out, dumping men, Jezebelling men, controlling men, or being Jezebel by men, you got to have somebody to show you a different way. This is why you got to get yourself a good mentor. If all you seen was a revolving door of men coming into your house while you were a kid, you need a different example. You need somebody to demonstrate what it looks like to have a healthy, godly relationship and to overcome all of the obstacles that are going to come, because there's nothing new under the sun. Your granddaddy saw those obstacles, your great granddaddy saw those obstacles, and your daddy should have saw them. So if nobody got past them, there's darkness ahead for you. But or your grandma, your great grandma talking to the ladies, but you got to get past that. You got to get past that. So you need to find somebody that has gone further than you. Get you a mentor that's been married like 30, 40 years, in that area, and, talk good and godly. And she can tell you, yeah, I remember when old Montesal, where did I get that name, Lord? Whew, I remember when old Montesal was out there, it was a female on his job, and I kept telling him he needed to be very mindful of him and of that girl, and he wouldn't listen to me. Turns out her wasn't him, and him went to accusing him. He was embarrassed, and I told him, I said, "You gonna listen to me next time, ain't you?" So you got to have somebody that can give you some revelation to get beyond that space. Where was I? Test the spirit. Find the principle number 4. Tame your imagination. Only imagine what you can control. This is especially good for women. This is gold for women. This is invaluable for women. I'm giving y'all principles, and I'm telling you right now, you should be sewing on top of that. You ain't got to, but I'm just telling you, this is some good stuff. Tame your imagination. Only imagine what you can control. What that means is, if I meet a man, I'm not going to imagine him being this hero, amazing dude, looks me in my eyes and he says, Tiffany, I care about you. I never want to see you upset. I'm not going to imagine that, because that may not be his personality. That may not be his personality. So I can fall in love or fall under a spell or fall under the influence of the imagined personality. What that then does to the ladies, please hear me, it's a setup from the devil. It's a setup from hell. What that then does is, if I imagine his personality, when his real personality come out, I'm not going to like it. So I'm going to try to control him and try to teach him how to be the man I imagine. That's why a lot of women fall into the trap of witchcraft and control. It's because you keep imagining a personality. You keep imagining the fight. Because women, we like to imagine that fight. And he come back and he's like, I don't care what you say. I ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. So I love you. And he come home, we talk. And he try to talk and you over there. Come on, y'all. Y'all be imagining that. Y'all be out here imagining a fight. And then imagining some sweet love making. You imagine that. Come on. And from behind that, there's a love child that's produced. Our love has come, is going beyond all of our issues. Right. Fell in love with my expectations that he didn't even consent to. I love that. Because you're pulling consent out of that. I love that. You're pulling the mechanism of consent out. And so that's one of the things that you want to do. So you want to make sure that you don't do, because that is a form of relational rape. So basically, you're taking away his ability to be himself and to show you himself because you're in love with somebody else. And but the person you're in love with wears his face in your head, but you're really not in love with him. So you don't give him an opportunity to be who he really is because you're trying to teach him how to be who this guy is. And the man that you created up here is a combination of your voids and the dudes that you dated, what they gave you, what they did not give you. Am I making sense? All right. Tame your imagination. Thank you, Sister Karen. God bless you. Tame your imagination. Only imagine what you can control. I can imagine writing a book. I can imagine starting a business. I can imagine traveling here. I can imagine that, but I cannot imagine what it's going to be like what it's to be married to this man. I cannot imagine what it's going to be like to be in a bedroom with him. You know, when we get married, stop that soft point in your head. I cannot imagine what this is going to be like. Don't put his personality in your imagination. Don't put his personality in your imagination because you're going to be wrong the majority of the time and you're not giving him the flexibility to show you who he really is. Let him have the flexibility to show who we always, the Bible says, take no thought for tomorrow, for sufficient for today is the trouble thereof. We always like to do that because it's a form of spiritual masturbation. We like to play with our own wiring in our mind because what it does is when I imagine his personality, I'm able to fix a set of problems in my head by imagining him being everything that I need him to be. And then it makes me feel all tingly inside. Sometimes I think I talk too fast. I'm trying to put it in language for you so y'all can understand what I mean. So now I'm dealing with, I get now I'm having to pull myself away from work. I'm having to pull myself away from, and I'm having to go lay down and just lay in the bed and imagine us having a fight. Imagine us walking and talking together. So now I have a whole, I'm a female, I know how that works. Whole conversation in my head where I'm already control, like he's asking these questions. We walking at the park, right? And ain't hardly nobody there. Because we know that's how we got to clear the park out in our head. We walking through the park or on the beach, or what have you. And we talking, and he asking me questions, and I got the right answers. Oh, y'all don't, yeah, we ain't nothing new underneath the sun. Y'all ain't new. It ain't new. It ain't new. So now he asking me questions in my head. He's like, so what would you like for us to be in 6 months? Boy, you're so crazy. Thanks for asking, right? So now you sitting up over there and he like, and you know what that does? It creates this addiction, this one-sided soul tie that tomorrow you got to go do that again. It's a form of masturbation of sorts because now you're playing with your potential. So now you're gonna have to break away again and go back in that room and do that again. I remember when I lived in Florida, real quick, and then I go over to the next point. And I had a vision. And I was confident that God had just shown me the vision of what my husband looked like. I was confident, oh, beyond confident. And I'm like, oh, yay, bring them. So I did my daily naps, and that became my event before the daily nap. By event, I'm not talking about me touching myself. I didn't engage in no masturbation. I've been absent 8 years for real. But that became my event. So I like to have stuff going on in my head. So every time before I went to take my nap, I got excited about these naps because I would just take this man and hijack his personality in my head. I would imagine us walking together, and then I try to keep it Christian. I would imagine us sitting in the car together talking because he can't come in my house. So he's sitting in the car, you know, and I'm sitting on the passenger side and we talking or what have you. I would imagine that because I was getting ready to move to Georgia. I would imagine that I had these nice, uh, cool white neighbors because I told you my dog is racist, but that they were like Milo and they loved Milo, what have you, and Milo would go. That would be like his second home, and so he could go over there, you know, sometimes. And it was y'all. It was beautiful. You should have seen it. But I had this, And I kept doing that for probably 2 weeks to a month. Every day when I laid down, I would imagine conversations with this dude. I would imagine hanging out with this dude. I would imagine, because I didn't know what Georgia was gonna be like. I would just imagine all of these great, and I would get really excited about that. And one day God showed me that was really hurting me. That was really taking me, it was making me impatient. It was doing something. And God said, now I need you to break up with him. The Lord told me, he said, I need you to break up with him. I'm like, you showed him to me. The Lord said, end it. Because you're in a relationship with this character you have never met. End it. And when he told me that, I felt real, almost a grieving of sorts. God said, end that. So I had to, whenever I went to take my nap, I'm still thinking that the thought tried to come, like, come on, I just want to, and God was like, stop it. Stop it. Remember one time I had stopped it, I ended it. I was like, okay. I started going through this process of, okay, Tiffany, you're not supposed to do that. Oh, what have you? Kid you not, I saw this news article. Thank you, Sister Karen. God bless you. I saw this news article. Dude looked just like the vision I seen. It was a news article I saw. I was reading an article. Whew. Call my friend girl all the time. Girl, remember I told you I was having visions of the man? I had to go right back into breaking it because I looked at that news article more times than I should have. Just to go back, and the dude wasn't even the star in the article. He was like hugging somebody, confident somebody. I kept going back to it. He looked just like, and I'm not going to describe what I saw because, yeah, I'm not going to describe the man because I don't want a bunch of dudes fitting that description saying, hi, Tiffany. I'd be like, nope, leave me alone. All right. Tame your imagination. Only imagine what you can control. Number 5, be accountable. Be accountable with your thoughts. Be accountable with your expectations. Be accountable. Get wise counsel. The Bible says there's safety in a multitude of counselors, which means that there is danger to be outside of wise counsel. This is why you end up with the narcissist. Get wise counsel. And let me say this. Don't you dare get wise counsel and then not be willing to let them counsel you. People get on my nerves with that. People get on my nerves with that. I want to be mentored by you. And then when they get real mentor, I'm leaving your program because you offended me. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Not be offensive, but telling you the truth, even though you don't want to hear it. But go on out there and go on your lesson the hard way. Be accountable. Get wise counsel, but respect the wise counsel that you have. Understand that they're not your enemy because they tell you something you don't want to hear. Y'all got to stop looking for counselors that give you confirmation and not information. Always looking for somebody that's going to tell you what you want to hear. No, I want wise counsel that look at me and say, Tiffany, you are acting out. Because I don't know about y'all. I know some people have their imagination of God and they say God told them, and God always tell them what they want to hear. But the God I serve tells me what I don't want to hear. I get whoopings over here. I get whoopings over here. I done had tantrums and all that. And I tell you, whenever I go through that, God will turn around and take me and he'd be like, go to bed. I'm tired of it. I'm just saying, the real God is not going to always give or tell you what you want to hear. So if the God that you're hearing is always saying, good girl, you know what? He missed out on the opportunity to get to know you. All that you better check, test that spirit. Be accountable, get wise counsel. Number 6, couples therapy. This is another controversial. Remember, this was going to be a controversial lesson. Do me a favor, stop, like and share. Like and share. Be sure you like and share. Okay. Couples therapy. should begin the moment you decide to count to court. The minute, and now this is relatively controversial. This is completely up to you. This is just a good idea. It's not mandatory, not mandated or anything, but I think this is a good idea. This is something that the Lord laid up on my heart. The minute you decide to court, now you dated, you talk to each other, you've decided, hey, we like each other, and we actually do want to pursue marriage. We want to continue to get to know each other for the purpose of marriage. It is always a good idea to be intentional. So I tell you, countries don't prepare for war in times of war. They prepare for war in times of peace. The craziest thing that people do is they want to go get counseling after the fight starts. I didn't say that. Okay, counselor. Okay. Oh, what's your name again? Miss. Okay, Mr. Logie. Looking at my camera. Sorry, I feel a call coming on. He talking to that female coworker, and I no. You get counseling beforehand. Once you make intentionality, but that's a grown-up principle. That's you and a man that are mature enough to say, yeah, we're two human beings and we'll make mistakes. So let us get wise counsel. Let us find somebody that can coach us to help prepare us for the future, since we are trying to go toward marriage. So that will help us to avoid half of the fights that most people have typically within the first year of marriage. I'm giving y'all gold. I'm giving y'all gold. I'm giving, that would eliminate most of the fighting that you would do in marriage. You do know that, right? Most fighting comes as a result of questions that were never asked, things that were never said, these surprises that pop up. Like when dude come home and say, hey, so a couple of me and my coworkers supposed to be going out tonight, so we're just gonna go kick it. Well, no, we're going after work tomorrow, so we supposed to go kick it. Okay, that's cool. Where y'all going? And are we supposed to be going out to eat? Oh, are we going over there to Glaco restaurant? Glaco. We don't call it Glaco. It's probably Glacier. We don't call it Glacier. But we're going to Glacier restaurant. Glacier. Oh, okay. What's kind of fancy for coworkers? Yeah. So who I was going? Me and two other ladies. That ain't a good idea. That's a date. No, it's cool. That's a, no. See, now what I'm not about to do is deal with insecurities. Let me see whose alarm going off. Let me check my Ring camera. I know, baby. But what I'm doing is if we sit up there and we get counseling, okay, that's my neighbors, I think. But if we sit up there and we get counseling before then, that's something we will likely discover during the counseling phase. So the counselor will give us, scenarios and stuff like that. We can talk that out during the counseling phase. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm not cool with that. It's no different than me calling you saying I'm getting off work, and Tom and Dante, they want to take me out. You'd be like, take you out. So we gotta always look at that from that perspective. Always put the shoe on the other foot. Those are things that you have to talk out. So whenever that situation does present itself, that you guys have already discussed it and you've already come to an agreement with that. So he would probably say, yeah, that's cool. That sounds really good. I hope you don't mind. My wife's gonna likely tag along. My wife is going to tag along. So that's the purpose of getting wise counsel. That's the purpose of getting counseling beforehand, getting counseling beforehand so that you can do that's for discovery during the courting phase. Problems that could potentially rise up that you can go ahead and discuss right then and there. You guys can come into an agreement, or you can decide that you don't want to go any further because maybe it's a non-negotiable for him. Maybe he's one of those guys that feels like, hey, I should be able to see other women, go out with other women, and you should just trust me. Maybe he's one of those type of guys. And if he happens to be one of those type of guys, but he don't feel like he should have to trust you, then okay, yeah, we can't go past this point. So that's the thing. The goal is to get information to find out if you guys can be together. Couples therapy should begin the moment you decide to court. And you can just do like once a month, once every 3 months or something like that. But just have wise counsel. It could be pastoral. It could be, but you should have some type of counseling, and just tell them, say, hey, listen, because we know things that can potentially come up in marriage and what have you. So we want, give it to us hard, give it to us raw. Because I know I ain't gonna be 1,000% right, and I know he ain't gonna be 1,000% right. So somebody has to tell me, right? Somebody has to give me a different perspective of things. Number 7, have open conversations, no arguing. This is one of the most important things that you can do in courting, in dating, courting, what have you. You got to learn to have open conversations without using inflected tones, without using any form of witchcraft. It's witchcraft to try to control another person with your facial features, with your attitude, with all of that stuff is witchcraft. You got to be courting. A standard courting typically is a year or two. If you go beyond 2 years, that's some people have gone longer. Completely up to the couple. Completely up to the couple. But have open communications, open conversations, no arguing. Again, I'm talking to those of you who are mature. You have to learn how to communicate without the arguing aspect. That means he can't control you, you can't control him. Neither person should be willing to control each other. There has to be a level of respect for each other's wishes and each other's differences. When there is no level of respect, there is going to be control. When there is no level of respect, there's going to be control. So there has to be these open conversations that you have with each other. Like going to a restaurant and sitting in a booth at the back, a restaurant that's relatively empty, just having open conversations, or going places, just having open conversations. Talk about the hard stuff, talk about difficult things, have open conversations, but you have to agree to no arguing or what have you. During those open conversations, you're going to discover things that you don't agree with, and he'll discover stuff with you that you don't agree with, he doesn't agree with. If you don't like what he believes or wants, try to compromise. So the both of you are supposed to, because you're practicing for marriage, you try compromising. He says, hey, I don't want to live here in this state. I want to move somewhere else. And you say, well, I love the state, I want to continue here. So you have to try to figure out a compromise. And if you can't get a compromise, now you're not going to compromise on everything. That's, realistically speaking, you're two humans. But the best thing to do, if it's something major, like something that's considered a non-negotiable, is to get counseling, to take it to counseling. And after counseling, if it's a non-negotiable still, and neither one of you are willing to budge, then that's a sign that you're probably not a good fit for each other. Number eight, this is especially for my sisters, because I don't see men doing this as much. Y'all ready? I need to know that you're listening. All right. I'm gonna get close. Don't be an option. When you allow a man to reduce you to an option, it causes you to compare yourself to the other women in his life. I don't care if he says, I got 3 female friends and I'm just talking to all of them. Now you're over there looking at her. What's so good about her? Okay, I noticed that okay, let's see. That lowers your self-worth. Don't you entertain anybody who lowers your self-worth. Like I said, it's okay to be friends. I actually recommend being friends with a guy. It's okay being friends. It's okay talking to your friends, but there has to be boundaries. And you have to establish that beforehand. There has to be boundaries, meaning you can't be my friend and confuse me. Because you can't be my friend and holding my hand. You can't be my friend and you think you got the option to be with me whenever you want to, because when you try, I'm going to say no. You can't be my friend and be sitting up here questioning who I'm dating. If you're a friend, you're a friend. If you're a friend, you're a friend. Act like a friend. You want to act like one of my female friends. Period, point blank. I don't want to hear nothing. Now, if we graduate from that friendship at some point, that's awesome. That's amazing. If we graduate from that friendship, we decide, hey, we like each other, we want to move into courtship. That's cool. You can go from friendship to courtship. It doesn't have to be dating to courtship. You can go from friendship to courtship. I think that's actually perfect. But then there has to be communication. Okay. If he says, I really like you and I want to get to know you, what does that mean? It means what I said. Okay, so we're friends. What does that mean? Because what you're not about to do is then turn around and remind me that we're friends when I see you with another female. And then what you're not about to do is make me feel like I can't talk to other guys. So what are we doing? Remember, you're coming to the table. And don't let nobody try to finesse their way around a contract. What? We friends. Okay. As your friend, this is a request I have. This is a boundary of mine. I don't need you to hear me. I don't want to hear you telling me that you're attracted to me. Don't tell me I'm pretty. Don't tell me none of that stuff. Any romantic talk, kick it out. When you call me, what's up? Hey, what's up? Because when I come out with a friend, let me tell you something. I ain't getting dressed up. I'll wear this. I'm hanging with a friend. I ain't going through all that. We ain't going to no fancy restaurants unless we ain't no be holding hands. Ain't gonna be no confusion. You ain't confusing me. Period, point blank. You going to voicemail a lot of time. I'm probably not gonna call you back all the time because you're a friend. That's how I do my female friends. I don't have time to talk on the phone every day. It's fine to move from friendship to courtship. But in that, the thing is, just make sure you're not confusing each other. Because at the end of it, one thing you don't want is that for me, I value my friends. I don't want to lose him as a friend simply because I met somebody else that said, hey, we talked, we decided we wanted to date, and the dating thing, dude knew what he wanted. He had grown up all over me. He's like, hey, I ain't got time for games. I want you to myself. I want to get to know you and you alone. And I'm like, oh, I'm feeling you as well. And he's like, I'm in this thing for marriage, long haul. I don't like to play games. I don't want, and I hope I ain't overstepping you. I don't want you talking to nobody else. I ain't gonna be talking to nobody else. Done. So, Mr. Friend, I can't be your friend no more. Oh, so you can't have male friends? No, because we were friends with you were trying to flirt. It's different. Now, if you a cockeyed friend that you don't even care nothing, I'm just playing. All right. Don't be an option. Number 9, beware of all open doors. That means exes, all of that other stuff. Open doors show you open doors in the realm of the spirit. So if you start talking to another person and then all of a sudden an ex pops up, that's spiritual. If you start talking to somebody, okay, this is what I've learned. If you're prayerful and you put God at the forefront of a relationship, so let's say if I see a guy, if I really like a guy, he really likes me and what have you, and we talk to each other, we start trying to get to know each other, what have you, and we're prayerful and God gives us the green light, everything seems really good. Y'all do know the devil is going to try to throw somebody. If there's a door open in his life or my life, the devil's going to use that door. So all of a sudden, one morning, he going to wake up to a phone call, missed phone call. He going to be like, number look kind of familiar to me. It ain't stored in my phone. He called that on the back. Hello. Hey, how you doing, big head? Big head. This Angie? Trying to make sure nobody in that Angie. Yeah. Just thinking about you the other day. I'm going to be in town. That's spiritual. That is spiritual. I don't care what nobody say. That is spiritual. Because you got God involved. So now the enemy's going to try to sabotage it. Anytime you get God involved, the enemy's going to sabotage. He's going to come along to test it. So don't fall into that trap. So beware of open doors. The same thing comes for you. As soon as you sit up there and you pray and God says, this man is praying for you. He's praying about you or what have you. The man is pursuing you because there has to be pursuit. If it ain't no pursuit, that ain't, don't you dare. Um, don't take yourself off the market for somebody who's not pursuing you. I don't know who needs to hear that. But the minute, some guy, he's pursuing you and everything, there's intentionality on his part. He makes his intentions known or what have you. He said, I've been praying about you. The Lord just said to me, he's like, go for it. He gave me the green light or what have you. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've told the Lord, my intentions with you. That's a good guy. That's a decent guy. You're probably going to get a good morning text from an ex. Ain't heard from that dude in 6.4 years. And when you get up, I know that phone number. Call it back. Hello. Hey. Hey. Who is this? Don't act like you don't know me. Let me show you what you're going to do. Woody? In the flesh. Hey, T-Mobile. Yes. I'd like to change my phone number. How fast can it be done? Okay. Right now. A 678 number. Okay. Okay. Bye. Close the door. Y'all, curiosity makes you keep the door open because now you want to know what's happening in Woody's life. Woody. Boy, why are you calling my phone? You just fell on my mind. Woody, I haven't talked to you in 6 years. I know. So why you ain't been calling me? Why would I call you? We are broken up. You know what you're doing? You're making him feel real good because what you're showing him is he still got a soul tie with you. He still has access to you. Hello? Yeah, I'm here. So where you at now? What you been up to? Well, you be so in such a hurry to tell Woody your accomplishments. So I own a massage parlor for fat people. So what we do massages on fat people. So we're the first in our business. And I've been doing pretty well. We're pulling six figures in from net. About to open up another location down there in Pennsylvania. And your mom's still in Pennsylvania. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm about to order. So make sure you shout her out. That's rejection. You so busy trying to tell him what you did in your life. Yeah. Hello. For me, that's offensive because I'm like, hello, you get my number. Boy, see, for me, it's offensive because that's a person that's trying to block. I don't like blockers. Like, how you gonna have a whole life and you over here trying to block mine? Please, come on now. How you got a whole life over there? How you doing? The devil is a three-feathered, two-tooth lie. You is not gonna be on my phone and my inbox, none of that. Cause I'm a whole wife over here, and I behave as such. Is blocking on? It could be, but blocking is never a good idea because they typically still have your phone number, so they're gonna call again from a different phone or a texting app or calling app or have you. And typically, like this, I said, it's spiritual. They'll do it at the most opportune times. So, what can end up happening is, let's say you're on a date. This is, this is somebody you've decided to court. Everything is good between y'all. Everything is looking really good. You go out, let's say you go do a picnic at the park. And You decide, I gotta go to the bathroom. So you leave your phone out there. You say, hey, I'll be right back. I go to the bathroom. Your phone go off. And he sees on there, the text message comes up. And the guy said, on the text message says, you've been running all through my mind. So many memories. I can't get you off my mind. Your kisses. Right then and there, distrust just entered your relationship. All because of an open door called a phone number. Close that door. Close that door. Now, obviously, it can be eliminated through conversation, but it's going to bring a lot of distrust or what have you. It can bring in a lot of distrust. So I believe in closing doors. Beware of open doors. Shut them promptly. Last one, number 10. Number 10. Stay sober. Stay sober. That means don't love bomb each other. Don't be stuck here. I'm in love with you. I can't stop thinking about you. Y'all be addicted to that feeling. They're addicted to it out here, and that feeling messes you up. I'm human, just like everybody, every other human. I like my emotions to be tantalized, but I suppress that because it's not necessary. Because I prefer to get to know the person rather than me allowing myself to have somebody sitting there talking to me and saying, I can't stop thinking about you. Really? What were you thinking about? I don't know, where you looked at me. No, those conversations don't get you nowhere but the bedroom and then the child support court. The best thing to do is to have sober conversations because that's the one that you get to know each other. Because those are the conversations you're going to have in marriage anyhow, are sobering conversations. Sobering conversations, if you have those in the beginning, if you have those getting to know each other, you will have longevity in marriage. You will have a marriage where you can love bomb the crap out of each other because you know each other. So you can deal with all that other stuff because you can, in marriage, you can sit there and you can sit up there and say, he can call you from work and say, you on my mind. And you say, what you thinking about? And he says, man, I'm just thinking about you, bed, naked. Okay. What? I said, okay. See you when you get home. You can do all that when you get married. But we sober. We're sober, meaning we ain't love bombing each other, getting all excited, but having no substance, nothing, because we really don't know each other because we're too busy playing with each other's feelings. We're playing with each other's wiring. And now we sit up there and we lay it in the bed, and he cuddled up to who he hopes I am, and I'm covered up to who I imagine him to be. And then one day we sober up and we realize we don't even like each other. We sober up and it's like, see, you let folks try to control you, you this, you that, and all that. No. But obviously, right, no fornication. I didn't support fornication. I didn't mention fornication. Stay sober. Right, no fornication. Keep fornication out of there. Sorry, I misunderstood, but I get what you're saying. But keep fornication. Keep all of that out of the equation. Okay, I'm going to tell you one of the quickest ways to stay sober, but it's a challenge to y'all. If you tuned in to me before, you already know what I'm about to say. Get these off the menu. Get these. Get them off the menu. Because it's messing you up. You don't believe me? It's messing you up. If I dated a guy and we went on 3 dates and we were sober the whole time, and while we on these dates, we start touching on each other, that does something. I don't know if you realize releasing serotonin and stuff like that. We hold hands. Holding hands is going to send electricity through the both of us. We're going to feel something. If we really like each other, that right there, we don't want that again. So when I go home, I'm going to be like, that moment there, ooh, he going to be, but we're going to want to progress. At some point, he going to stand in front of me. And he going to look down at me, and I'm going to look at him. And I'm like, he look kissable, Lord. You know why? It's not that we want to kiss because we love each other. We want to kiss because we want to feel something. That has everything to do with we want to feel our next level. We are trying to hijack our next level. I had a dream last week and definitely praying about it because I do know I'm aware of those type of dreams. They could be prophetic, sometimes they could be, but I had a dream last week. A guy was sitting down next to me, had his head up like this, and he was trying to kiss me. And I put my finger on his lips and I said, "Not yet." I said, "Not yet." Because he wasn't married to me. And I understood in the dream. I put my finger on his lip. I was like, "Not yet." What was I saying? In that, I'm saying, bro, listen, I hear you. I feel you. The moment feels like it calls for it, but at the end of the day, we don't need to hijack this. We don't need to hijack tomorrow. We need to get that substance that we need today. Today is a substance day. Today is a substance day. What if you eventually meet the one and want to get married? How do you know you'll be compatible sexually? You don't need to know that. Sex is not compatibility. It's honestly, sex is not a compatibility thing. Sex has everything to do with love. It is never disconnected from love. Perversion is about compatibility. Sex isn't. If I love him and he loves me, we're compatible because that love is what we're going to express in the bedroom. It's not going to have anything to do with the size of his organ. It's not going to have anything to do because in love, we are going to, in a sense, tame each other. In love, we're going to, in a sense, tame each other. Sex has nothing to do with you are always be compatible with the person you love. If you love them and they love you, their compatibility is there. Perversion deals with compatibility because in perversion, this could get me in trouble. What I'm about to say, perversion can set you up as a female. You know what I'm saying? And what it can do if you keep having relationships, it can set you up to the point where now you don't know whether or not he's going to be a good fit, literally. So now a woman can be too blessed for a man because he is not blessed in that area, or he blessed but it just don't look like a blessing. And she was over there with uh Johnny the Stallion. So now Johnny the Stallion had knocked down the walls of Jericho. Thankfully the is a muscle, so typically it goes back into shape. It usually expands after childbirth or something like that. But in all our honesty, the woman's body will always adjust to accommodate. Really, realistically speaking, if a woman has a lot of sex, typically that's when that incompatibility is. And then two, I'm gonna say this: it's in the middle of the night. It's gotta be after 12 for me to have these type of talks with y'all. Oh, it's two. Okay. When you meet a guy, when you get married or something like that, typically they could be whack in the bedroom. Not talking about a size thing because I've never had a case. I don't know if women have cases where a man is too small for the remote. I don't know about that. But they're typically first encounters with God, and a lot of time, not God, Lord Jesus, ooh, in the name of Jesus, Lord, I repent. But with a guy, can be relatively whack. Not all the time, because sometimes you can have really compassionate and it. But I'm just saying, sometimes dudes can be whack. A dude can be whack. You could be in a relationship with a guy, he could be whack. That's where taming comes in, or training. Both of you train each other. In all that honesty, I used to give off record, unofficial advice like that when I was married. I remember doing that with a couple of people, what have you. And they were talking about they didn't like sleeping with their husbands. And I was shocked. I was shook. I was shook it. And I'm like, what? We were all in the kitchen talking. And they were just like, they telling the dude down. And I'm sitting there like, thinking to myself, Tip. And I was like, and they're like, yo, turn your down. I was like, they were like, how often y'all go at it? They said, don't tell me every day. I was like, yeah, every day. The heck y'all talking about? Y'all going a week and 2 weeks in a month? What's happening here? What's happening here? But one of the things I found, one of the things I discovered, the reason that they were having that problem was that they were not communicating to the guy that he was whack. They were not, and I'm not saying tell a dude he's whack. I'm saying they were not communicating with their husbands that they didn't like certain things that the man did. Right? They weren't communicating because typically, I gotta set up a conference to talk about this kind of stuff. Forget it. I'm not a standard Christian. Okay. Typically, when a man goes out there and he's been a thought, he picks up a certain sexual personality. Is a combination of all of what he drew from these other relationships. So there's a difference between sensual, good, compassionate, I love you sex versus I want to cut your throat, beat the crap out of you type. There's a difference between all of that. There's a difference. He picks up his sexual personality based on a lot of the women that he's been with. Typically, is most of the time is going to be his favorite one, what have you, where they had a lot of chemistry or what have you. He's going to bring that with him. So if she was a sneaky link and they were doing a thing and she like her hair pulled and she like him to beat her head up against the headboard, if they were choking each other, that's what he gonna bring. You have to sit there and now you gotta I'm gonna give y'all a business idea that really has to happen. There has to be a sexual counselor that comes out there and teaches. Because if you're not willing to do that, and when I say teachers, it has to be another male that says, hey, what have you, that talks to your guy and says, okay, don't be afraid of it. It's okay. You're overcompensating. So what happened was the last girl you slept with, the walls of Jericho fell down and you weren't able to satisfy her. So you felt the need to be aggressive in the bedroom, okay? And that's the reason you clawed her, you scratched her, you beat her head against the headboard and all that. You were trying to make her feel pain because her pain threshold was just a little too high. So, yeah, now you got a wife that ain't been out there like that, who wants to have compassion, okay? All right? That wants to have actual love making with you. So one of the things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to lose the fear and ask your wife to communicate with you. It's okay. Completely fine. Ask your wife to communicate. When you're having fun with your wife, just ask her, is it good? If she doesn't say anything, stop what you're doing and be like, hey, what do you need? You have to communicate. That has to be communicated. When you communicate it, you will love having sex with your spouse. I'm being honest with you. When you communicate, when a woman communicates, because men don't mind being communicated with. When you communicate, dude, I don't know. You have sex like a heavy alligator. Like what the heck is that? Like, could you lift your body or something? Because I feel like I'm dying under here. When you communicate that, I think you need to go to the gym a little bit more. Cause yeah, you putting all your weight. We ain't doing this. When you communicate, when you communicate over the course of time, you will have the best sex with your spouse. Notice I said spouse, it has to be a spouse. You will have the best encounters. Y'all will have amazing sex. But perversion, there's no satisfying each other in perversion. Because perversion can't be satisfied. Perversion, dude, he didn't have some stuff happen to him. And perversion, somebody took, yeah, you don't even want to know what happened to your dude. Or what have you. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. So, what was I saying? Number 10. Last one was stay sober. I don't need to be hanging out with a dude and kissing on him because all we're doing is playing with serotonin, dopamine, all that stuff. So if we sit up here, he walks me up to my door and I'm like, I had a really good time. And then we go to kissing on each other, it's gonna make us impatient. We're gonna keep on wanting to go to the next level. Because at some point that the kissing gonna feel good, we're gonna keep wanting to go to the next level. Then the kissing gonna get longer, then he gonna pull me closer to him. The kissing gonna get more and more passionate. Next thing you know, you're gonna be like, was that a grind? Did you just grind me? Then the grinding feels good. That's just a challenge. I took kissing off the table. Okay, Tiffany, I don't know if I could date you without kissing you. I completely understand, and I really respect that. It's nice knowing you. Because somebody's what, right? It will escalate, and I don't know why we be lying to ourselves like it ain't not gonna happen to. I'm gonna do the abstinence thing. I promise, I really am. I don't know if I could take kissing off the table. Why y'all think y'all be manipulating God? God know you plan on humping that man. If you get the right one and he say the right thing and he do the right thing, if you feel like it's worth the risk, celibate fornicator. God know you plan. He's the beginning. He's the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. He know what's in your heart. The Bible says God doesn't look at the outward appearance. God, the Bible says man looks at the outward appearance. God looks at the heart. So God still look up in there and see that freak. I see you. You gonna play? I don't. Next thing you know, you're up in there trying to fix your hair. Sorry. See, that comes from Sister Carmen. That's the mistake right there. That comes from experience. But honestly, I ain't gonna share it. I will have to do a counseling session. That is never a problem. That's not gonna be a problem. If you got somebody that you felt like was too small, that's honestly not. Your body will accommodate him. Honestly, your body will accommodate. That doesn't happen. It happens when you have regular bouts of sex. Like if you're constantly having sex with a dude who's big, and then not long behind him you go with somebody. That typically doesn't happen. It typically doesn't happen. Any case I've ever heard of that happening, I've never experienced that, but any case I've ever heard of that happening from friends, it has always been a situation where they pretty much just got out of bed with another dude. But your body will, yeah, it's a whole. I want to teach you. This is a Christian channel, so it's difficult. Those are the type of things I do conferences about. In a conference, I can talk to y'all. Just we can take off. I can tell you, hey, look, yo, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. That doesn't happen. That's how the enemy keeps women in fornication and keeps men in fornication. Is he makes you think that you're not gonna be compatible. But I always ask this question: what happened to the dude that you were compatible with? Why are they not there? See, compatibility has no power. Compatibility is just you comparing him to the last dude. But in all our honesty, when there's genuine love there, when you're married, I can tell you this. I can tell you this because I was married. I was married twice. Okay. And yeah, I'm not gonna go there. But that was never a problem. There was never a situation where I sat back and said, eeny weeny. It was never a situation like that. It doesn't happen. I think you really got to be run through. And I know you're not. I'm not saying that about you. I'm just saying a woman has to really be run through to have that problem when you having repeated bouts of sex. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Typically, your body will accommodate the person. And even if the person is relatively small, your body will still accommodate the person. Your body is not going to say, I don't feel him. And if you have somebody that loves you, there's going to be, yeah, it doesn't happen. So I have to be very careful so I don't end up deleting the video, and I end up saying something. But yeah, that doesn't happen. Honestly, it doesn't. It's I promise you, it's a trick of the enemy. it's a trick of the enemy. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You will have it is really about love. Honestly, sex has everything to do with love. With a woman, it always boils down to how she feels about her man. That's how your body's wired. With a woman that's in the world, it's different because she knows that man doesn't love her. So they have to be freaks. It has to be relegated to that encounter. How sex in the world is how good are you at fooling me that you love me or that you are under a spell by me or what have you. That's what sex in the world is about. Sex in the world is about willful deception. Pull my hair, make me feel this way, or what have you, or be really passionate. That's sex in the world. Sex in the world is about deception, delusion, or what have you. Sex in the world, it is good when you feel like you got chemistry. But sex in a godly context of marriage is honestly nothing like that. It's genuinely nothing like that. Sex in a godly concept, it has everything to do with your love for one another. You're not thinking about size. That person is not thinking about y'all. Your brain ain't on that kind of stuff because it's not perverted sex. It's not just it's none of that. It's compassion. It's you caring about this person caring about you. You're really not thinking about that. You're really not thinking about that. So I just wanted to say that when you said I want to go to Red Lobster for dinner. Okay. If a man wants a woman and knows that she's his wife, he will not wait for it. He will wait for a kiss as well as intimate. Right. Men are the surest creature on the planet. If a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. Favor of the Lord is also the grace for him to wait because God will deal with him. God will deal with him and tell him not to touch. I think I remember watching Heather Lindsay's story. Her husband, she said he said that his wife they were on a date. She went to the bathroom. The Lord told him, he said, "Don't you touch her." They didn't kiss until marriage. There are a lot of couples that are emerging that did not kiss until marriage. It takes all that fluffy stuff out of there so you can really get to know the person. That brings for less arguing. Honestly, it sets the stage. If you want, it's the best investment to have an almost argueless marriage. Now you will argue, but you will have less contention because you were intentional and you got all the hard stuff out of there. Most of the time, people have fights in their first year of marriage because they really don't know each other. They just gaslit, dating, gaslit, and love bombed each other the whole time. They sit up there kissing on each other, humping on each other, rubbing on each other, staring in each other's eyes. Don't nobody know the other person. You just know a few things. You know his baby mama and what she did to him, and he know your baby dad and what he did to you. And y'all know about each other family. You done told a couple of stories and tell me I'm a lie. That's all you know. You don't know nothing about his character. You don't know too much. You know he got a little bit of a temper. You know this, but you know how not. You don't know that much about him. That's where the fights come from. Because we spend a majority of the time in the beginning talking and saying what we want the other person to hear. And then once we start getting the feelings involved, we keep doing that because we want the person we want to keep that feeling. So if I hung out, if I was dating a guy, if I hung out with him yesterday and we were talking and what have you, and he touched my hand and I touched his, and we got that electric feeling and we gave each other a peck. And he says he wants to hang out with me again on tonight. You know where our brains at? We want to go past that peck because that felt real good. Because I couldn't stop thinking about him. I want that feeling again. I want that feeling. So instead of us doing this kind of hand move, we may do this. Oh, this is pre sex. We getting ready. Because what we're doing is we're linking our bodies. We're sitting. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're not even talking to each other. We hanging out. We talk a few things, and he just lay there and he's like, just look at me. And so I'm like, what you? And he said something kind, and I'm like, oh. So now I feel like I gotta kiss him. He feel like he gotta kiss me. Now you dry humping on the couch. Stay sober. Stay sober. Now we dry humping on the couch. Because we didn't use wisdom. First and foremost, he can't come to my house. You gonna keep on that feeling. You gonna keep wanting it, and after a while, this ain't gonna work no more. After a while, this right here ain't gonna work no more. It ain't gonna feel as good. It's gonna kind of lose. So now that the peck on the lip ain't gonna work anymore. Or the kiss, the careful kiss when you try not to, to use any tongue, not gonna work. That tongue gonna come out of his mouth like a mighty, and your tongue, your couch gonna get a dent in it. Cause y'all are. That's the time where you're supposed to be getting to know each other, not playing with each other's wiring. If you women don't want to do anything with a guy, how about going Dutch on a date? How about you going to a different channel and go find some other type of women? These ain't them type over here. Cause we ain't prostitutes, bro. Sorry. Now go whack off the Christmas music. Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. I should. Okay, let me stop. How do I make sure he's equally? That takes time, and you get to know him. Praying about him, checking his relationship with God. Pray together. Talk on the phone. Read the Bible together. Read the Bible together. So that's one of the things you see. And then you got to wait to people. One of the greatest tests is whenever you see a person angry, right? Whenever he gets angry, how does he act? Does he cuss you out? Does he put you on punishment? Right. I'm sorry, guys. One of the things I'm really protective. I don't like to see when somebody comes with perversion, especially when they reduce women to a prostitute. When they reduce women to a prostitute, that right there, wrong channel, wrong channel. Thank you, Sister Kelly. Wrong channel. It's the wrong channel for that. Reduce women to basically sexual favors for dinner. Stay sober, because those are the type of guys that you want to avoid. Those are the type of guys you want to avoid. Now I got myself in some trouble. I gotta go. I gotta go. But stay sober so that you can get to know the person. Because, okay, let me say this before I go. The end goal with the person is a healthy, happy, mature marriage. Mature marriages are built by mature people. Immature people don't create mature marriages. It's to have a healthy, happy, mature, uh, godly marriage. You can build together. You can focus on what's important in marriage. You can build. You can sit back and say, "What are we doing? Are we going to England? Look at a property? Okay, cool. Right. Looking for a wife and really looking for a prostitute over here. Trying to lower women down to prostitute, talking about dinner. If you don't want to pay for your dinner, like what? That was a whole narcissist. Yeah, he would have been a history lesson. As soon as he don't believe in God, that's my everything. There ain't no option with that. We ain't talking past that that's the last conversation. Like the Last Supper, last conversation. But the end goal is a good, godly marriage where you guys can build together. You can pray together. You can raise a family together. You can travel the world together. You can do great things together. And you guys are doing what you need. That's the end goal. So, really, what I'm talking about today is really just shaking or really just sifting through all of the foolishness out there so that you don't end up with somebody who's broken, somebody who is not, that does not have an end game in mind, or somebody who can only get to here, right? I've always said men who wants to sleep with women just because they take them out to dinner need to date homeless women. I mean, why not save that dinner for homeless women? Yeah, I would even say that because honestly, men who do that they're prostitute minded. They're prostitute minded. And they're broken and relatively feminine, honestly, because they still have this mentality of 50-50, not realizing that while the concept of 50-50 can sound good, when you think outside the concept on a biblical standpoint, husband's the head of the home. The Bible says the woman is a weaker vessel. And the Bible says to dwell with her according to knowledge. And so if you think along those lines and you look at your wife's potential, or the man looks at his wife's potential, and both of them are respecting each other's, everybody's doing their role, it makes it a lot easier. But those who have that, men who have a feminine mentality typically be like 50-50, partner, roommate, all of that stuff. When you tell men you're waiting, they see you as a challenge if they're worldly, right? But then he said, wait, let me read that. Enlighten. All right, I'm gonna read this one and I'm gonna go. How do you present that to a man you're dating? Like telling him you want to wait for marriage to kiss and have sex. It's over the phone. Honestly, it's a really good conversation. It's just when you're talking over the phone, just avoid. I think a lot of times avoid all of the filler words. Like, I'm thinking about you too. I want to see you too. You look really nice today too. All of that. Avoid all of the filler words. So you start, hey, so um combo. So you do know I'm Christian, right? So how do you feel? Okay, for me, I'm not having sex outside of marriage. I don't believe in having sex outside of marriage. And just say it plain. I don't, so, what do you feel about that? And he says, well, I mean, well, I can respect it. Okay, that's cool. If he says, I don't know if I can do that, let him go. Let him go. Give me a second. I was looking for, okay, let me see. What was I looking at? And then he said, Red Lobster said it right. You going on a $50 bill and then want the woman to put out. Well, I tell you, y'all better go make your own money. Go make your own money. Could you do, not to trigger, but maybe he says to go. Yeah, honestly, those type of guys will sexually assault a woman. This is off topic, but could you do a lesson on the book Enoch? I love to hear. I've never read it, so I don't read anything that's outside of the Bible. I've never read it. I've never read it. And I warn people, because some of the people that I've come in contact with have read those things have lost their mind. So I warn people to be very mindful of what they read. I think you have to master your relationship with God. In the just reading the Bible within itself. And then after you have solidified your relationship with God and you're solid there and you have accountability, maybe you can, branch out to that kind of stuff. But I don't ascribe to reading all of that stuff. If you have a kid already, they may not take you serious about rating. You're talking about dudes at the bottom, not intentional, not husbands. So there's a difference between a dude at the bottom of the pyramid versus the dude at the top. The dude at the bottom, they're used to that because they're used to bottom thinking women, and so they're gonna be having sex with a lot of different women or what have you. So they don't. But a person who is intentional, he doesn't mind that because he's not making you pay. And so like that crap that's Kevin Samuel said, I don't buy. Just because a woman had, because you had sex with somebody before, meaning you got to keep having sex. No, you don't. That's your body. You present your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. That is Romans 12:1. I'm not who I was back then. And because I'm not who I was back then, I'm not going to make the same mistakes, because that's the ideology, is to perpetuate the same mistake that I made back then, and saying that I'm now obligated to doing it again because I did it for somebody else. They should pursue them. Yeah, but just not those type. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Just not those type. I think if you have to tell the man you want kiss or sex outside of marriage, that means you are leading. He should know. Yeah, in a way, I get that. I think we prefer. We prefer. Most women, we prefer that guy that comes along and says, "Hey, so um, that's the alpha. That's what they call in the world alpha energy. We prefer that. Women, we prefer that. But realistically speaking, sometimes you may not have that conversation at first. The guy's not bringing up sex and you're not bringing up sex. And you have to go ahead and initiate that to go ahead, because sometimes some people are just kind of trying to go with the flow. So he's going to try you. So it's nothing wrong with communicating that with him, because if you don't communicate it, then you're going to have to communicate it when he comes in for the kiss. You're going to have to communicate it then. And that could be after a date one night, and he had it in his head. He bought his good lip gloss and everything, and he come in for the kiss, and then you just sitting there looking at him like, I don't kiss before marriage. What? When were you gonna tell me that? So if you don't kiss, that means no. See, I could have got rid of him. I could have got rid of him 3 months ago. That's my goal. I want to rid myself of him quick, fast, and in a hurry. I could have got rid of him 3 months ago. But because I didn't communicate that with him, then I didn't get that. But yeah, we honestly, I get what you're saying. We prefer, as women, we prefer men who are alpha type, who actually take the lead on that. But realistically speaking, there are some guys who don't have that intention, or who may not communicate, or may think it's too soon to talk about that, so they're not going to say anything. And if you don't say anything, you're going to find it out when he take those soup warmers and try to come towards you with them. when he take them and you like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? All right, I'm getting ready. Amen, Sister Kelly. Thank you. All right, so let's see. But is he godly if he comes in with the kiss? Yeah, because it's actually cultural. It's traditional. It's not sinful. It becomes sin once lust comes in. So this is why you don't kiss, because lust will come in when you kiss. But it's actually normal. It's so normal that on this channel, it's 384 people logged in here on the YouTube. Excuse me. Of those 384 people, about 360 of them still believe in kissing. You're not, I mean, I would say many of them have counter renounced it or renouncing it tonight. So we'll probably say about 60 of them will say, okay, I'm taking kissing off the table. But it's so ingrained into our culture that what I'm teaching is actually foreign. Is weird. What have you? What I'm teaching is weird. If a woman wants to flirt with me, I won't keep spending. How do I know the woman ain't using me to pay her bills? Then you pay your own bills, and you get you a woman that know how to pay her own bills. You get a partner. You get somebody. Everybody has a preference. So, and you don't go into a relationship paying people's bills. You got to have a good relationship with the Most High God. There are good, great women out there that, like for me, I don't need a dude to pay my bills. I don't. I really don't. So for me, I want him to get paid his own bills, because I ain't trying to be his sugar mama. But that's the thing. It's all a matter of preference. If you prefer somebody that you don't want to feel used, but you still have to be the provider. You still have to be the protector. So you can get a good woman to provide for her, but you can provide when you get married or what have you. But in a case like that, you will know the difference. Typically you're probably not a baller right now. And a lot of times when you're not a baller, you're not gonna pull in the gold digger. Gold diggers typically go after people that have a certain amount of money. Now they will go after broke ones or what have you, but typically they'll go after them. But they're gonna talk to them any kind of way. They ain't gonna move into their house, all that other stuff. They're gonna come around first of the month to get your SSI check. But that's it. I tell men when they ask for my number, I'm abstinent so they can prove me their power right then and there. Right. I like to get stuff out the way in the beginning. I'm like, that's how I am. I'm like, let me go ahead, because we ain't even got to get on this phone and talk for 3 days, a week, 2 weeks, or what have you. Before I start telling y'all, what have you. When you tell men you're abstinent, they see you as a challenge to conquer. Where was that at? When they're worldly, men will play a role and finesse you out the draws. Yeah, that's why you have boundaries up. You say abstinent, but don't take them to your house. Don't go along. Don't go to their house. Test the spirit. Don't let them call you at 11 o'clock at nighttime. I just be busy. You put that stuff out there, and you just have to prove it or what have you. Once he realizes that there is really literally no access to you where he can get you alone to have sex with you, he'll go ahead and manifest. I'm telling you right now, he'll go ahead and manifest. Okay. I'd rather wait till marriage. Me too. I said I'm gonna wait till the pastor says you may now kiss the bride. All right. So we had a quickie question and answer segment. I hope you guys were blessed by this. Last one again was remain sober in the process. That way you can get to know each other. Because the overall goal, I can't say this enough, is to have a godly marriage. That's the overall goal, is to have a godly marriage full of purpose. Y'all building amazing. I'm talking about you doing great things out here in the world. That's the overall goal, that God gets the glory from your marriage. But now, the dating process, there's the sifting. You're dealing with the messy stuff, right? But that's the overall goal, is to have a good, godly marriage where you can go out here and you can conquer the world. You can raise up good, godly, healthy children. You can overcome all of the obstacles together, and you two can spend the rest of your lives together. And you can cross your eyes and see heaven. You know, you can go and have that 40th year wedding anniversary or what have you. You can break curses and stuff like that. All right. I love you guys. I will talk to you soon. This was the second one. 3 out. 3 out. Jesus. I wasn't supposed to be on here 3 hours. All right. Love y'all. Bye.